Very bizarre. Good now. Jeez, my whole screen's like effed up and like frozen. It's weird. What the frick? I got to restart my browser. Very strange. Yeah, deep state testing the kill switch. There you go. So as I was saying, obviously, Sidney Powell has been rocking it. So I see someone saying, or was it Tucker? What's going on with Tucker? Someone said Tucker is toast. What's up with Tucker? What's the deal with Tucker? Huh. I must have missed something with Tucker. He bashed Sydney? What? Tucker Carlson bashed Sidney Powell? Oh, he demanding evidence, huh? Demanding evidence from... Well, why would she be putting that out there when it's like criminal? It's like a criminal case. Oh, I see. Sidney Powell says, I offered affidavits to Tucker Carlson explaining how Dominion switches votes, but he was insulting, demanding, and rude, and I told him not to contact me again. Well, bye, Tucker. See you, Tucker. Another, man, when you're getting that kind of Fox News money, I guess he got used to that lifestyle, and demands probably got made, and he caved. That's sad. That's really sad, because I used to like Tucker. They just insane, man. It's really sad. When are we just going to ditch Fox News already, for goodness sake? They have no integrity, and clearly neither do any of their hosts. The only holdout now, I guess, is Sean Hannity, who I just can't stand. Lou Dobbs, too. Lou Dobbs is a cool guy. But I can't stand Hannity, man. He interrupts everybody constantly. He never gives people a chance to talk. He's also controlled opposition, and he's very good at controlling the conversation by interrupting people at key moments when they start saying too much. I've noticed this about him over the years. He when his guest starts trying to take control of the conversation and takes it somewhere that he does not want it taken, he is very good at jumping in and walking all over them and redirecting the conversation, taking complete control, and making sure that it does not go where Fox News does not want it to go. That's Hannity. And no, I don't think it's an ego thing. Not just an ego. I mean, there's definitely ego there. Don't get me wrong, but it's far more than just ego. It's control of information with Hannity. Maria Bartiromo, also okay, as far as I know, although I don't get the chance to watch her very often. So it's pretty much down to Lou Dobbs and Ms. Bartiromo. I can't think of anyone else that's worth a crap on there. And if they're like Tucker and they're rolling in that Fox News loot, it's not going to be long before they cave too, if that's what's important to them. They will either, I guarantee you, it's going to come to a point where Fox News is giving them an ultimatum, perhaps already happened in the background. They're going to be giving Bartiromo and Lou Dobbs ultimatums and demanding that they either cave to the Fox narrative of controlling information in regards to the election and voter fraud, or they will be forced to leave, right? They're going to be given that choice. You either You either cave and you can keep taking in that Fox News cash, or you're done. You're gonna have to leave. That's what's gonna happen with them. You watch. It's coming. It's not gonna be long. All these people that are have been so looked up to on Fox for so long as, you know, our side's best and brightest. They rake in the cash, they rake in the views, the eyeballs. People are going to find out soon that they are not what they thought they were, or we'll see them actually stand up for the principles they claim to hold and see them leave Fox News. That's what's going to happen, and it's coming within probably a couple of weeks. You watch. It's long past time that people give up Fox News, like, completely. Really, not just Fox News, all Fox products. Anything owned by Fox, movies, television, entertainment television, and their news, give it up. Stop watching it. And not to the goal with this isn't to make them see and make them change and do what we think they should. The goal is just to drive them out of business, because they deserve to go out of business. They deserve to, corporately speaking, die. Not like violently and actually like die, but, you know, in terms of corporate, the corporate world, their corporation deserves to die. They need to go. And I'm happy to see people finally waking up to it. Yes, channels like ours and RSBN, we're the future, and it's going to be rough going for us. It already is. I've been meaning to say this for a while. You know, I don't like asking for money, but PSB has taken a hit, like a big hit, over the past couple months. Ever since YouTube and especially, you know, when Patreon disappeared, that was like $1,000 every single month out of our pocket that went towards our monthly costs, and that's gone now. But not just that, our PayPal income has been just, it's crashing. And I know times it's really tough for everybody right now, so I ain't hating. I know how it is for everybody. People are being squeezed and crushed right now, especially on our side. And this is, I knew very early on that this was coming, like years ago, that this was going to be done. They're going to try to squeeze us into submission and into caving, like into collapsing. They're going to try to squeeze us financially into not being able to continue doing what we do. They would much rather have us just kind of disappear rather than banning us. It's way easier for them. You know, if they outright ban us from every single platform completely, which they've already banned us from some, a good number. But if they completely ban us like that, that looks really bad on them, and it provides more ammunition for the narrative that they are actively shaping reality and banning people that they don't like. And the easier thing for them is to make us disappear by rather than banning us, make us go out of business. So it's on us, right? It's on us because we just couldn't cut it in the modern cutthroat world of news. You know, we just couldn't swing it. That's what they're going for. Jolly Green, I can get back to everyone on that. I need to add that up. I need to add up like the actual month-to-month costs. It's not cheap at this point. We pay for a number of servers, and there's obviously we did the funding drive for $10,000 to pay Mr. Nugs for like full-time work for several months to get some stuff built that we're going to need. That's obviously, you know, the replacement for Discord, a replacement for Zoom, because Zoom is China owned, right? Zoom, I guarantee you, is well, I don't want to say guarantee, but it wouldn't surprise me if they try to take Zoom from us, if they try to ban us from Zoom or make it so Zoom is not workable for us, because that's what we used to operate. So that's one of the things that he has been set to work on with that money, is a replacement for Zoom that can't be taken from us. And then finally, the biggest thing is kind of a revamp of the website, including the ability for not just us to stream, but for you all to stream. So kind of like our own Tiger Network thing, where all of you can actually stream to our website. And I would really like to get it to the point where so we have the main channel, right, that's going right now, and I want to have that going out to tons of different platforms. We're talking with what's it, Cloud Hub. I think we're going to get on Cloud Hub. I would like to see us on satellite radio, although I don't know how viable that's going to be. I don't know if they're going to shut us out because we're not in the special people club. But I'd like it so we have like the main channel, right? The flagship 24-hour, right? And then you all can stream, you know, when you're out there and you have a piece of news going on in your area, an event, you know, court case, whatever, you stream to the site and it can be picked up by us on the main channel and have that go out everywhere, right? It'd also be good to have not just live streaming, but just uploading video. Obviously YouTube's done, right? We're done with YouTube. We've been done for a while, and there's no real viable alternative to YouTube at this point. Wonder if Pam is aware of the black and white Twitter pages. What's going on with black and white? Black and white Twitter pages. I mean, yeah, of course, DLive, but the thing with DLive is it only allows live streaming. It doesn't allow just straight up video uploads. Don't get me wrong, DLive, I love the way DLive works. It's great, but it'd be nice to have a place where you all can upload 2 or 3 minute videos, not just live streaming. Someone talking about Obama changing from color to black and white. Weird. Let me check it out. Okay, his picture. Here. So it looks like he's changed his picture from color to black and white. And I imagine he's probably not the only one. Oh, Oprah too, huh? Look at that. Oprah also black and white. Interesting. Yeah, I'm back on the money thing. I will say that, see, Maga Mama is saying, you just like the lemons, Pam. You're darn right I like the lemons. We have thankfully been getting some income from DLive thanks to the lemons. I haven't actually received a payout yet, but I did just get approved for it. A couple days ago, I applied and got approved for it. So that's another way that you all can get us some funds is via DLive. The lemons, each lemon is worth a little over a penny. So 100 lemons is like $1.20, something like that. So we've been getting some income from that, and it's definitely going to help offset the loss of Patreon for sure. I got to get us on that subscribe star thing. I know there's another one like Paywise, I think, is like a PayPal replacement. I imagine we're not going to last that much longer on PayPal too. You know, they took out Amazing Polly, and I'm sure some others. Doubt we'll be all that far behind. You know, yeah, Cash App. That's the other one. Cash App. I'll try to get us on there too. And obviously, we always have the PO box. Easter Mariah, do you make money on subs or straight donations? So you're talking on DLive? I don't know how the subscription thing works. I think the subscription thing gives you. I think the subscription thing gives us lemons, because I think doesn't it cost you guys lemons to do the subscription? There's following and then there's subscribing. Two different things on DLive, as I recall. But yeah, I think the subscription thing gives us lemons every month. But obviously the straight donations, yeah, like just giving lemons to the channel, that we get money from. PayPal is Soros. Yeah, PayPal is duty. I don't. Basube is saying I give via PayPal. Will we know when they remove you? I don't know. You know what? I doubt they'll notify you guys. I doubt they'll notify you. It'll just all of a sudden disappear from your PayPal. So if you subscribe on PayPal, it'll just stop. I'm guessing that's how it'll go. And yes, Jolly Green Patreon indeed banned us. They banned us like 2 months ago. I probably could have done a better job of announcing that and letting everyone know. Okay, subscribing on DLive is a little over $4 a month. Cool. Okay, well, that's neat. Is Twitch generating anything? Sort of. Twitch has if any of you are Amazon Prime members, you can pretty much take money from Amazon and give it to us. It's like $5 or $10 a month, and it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. They give, if you're an Amazon Prime member, they give you one free Twitch Prime subscription every month, and you can give it to whatever channel you want. I would love if you gave it to us. I don't recall exactly how to do it. Let me see if we can figure this out. Is that sharing the Twitch? So there should be a button. I doubt it's going to show on mine because I'm logged in as the admin, but there should be a button that you can click. Probably one of these purpley looking buttons that lets you do the Twitch Prime subscription. So yeah, okay, awesome. People have Prime. I'll have to maybe have a fellow host that has a Twitch account that can show you guys how to do it. And thank you, Zed Sketch1, for saying that you have worked. I have worked my ass off. We truly have. Obviously, not just us. It's thanks to the wonderful people that come here to speak their mind day in and day out. We just provide the platform. I'm just the steward. I if you want to call me a captain, I'll take it. But I'm the steward of the ship. It is my honor and my pleasure to have done it for the past 3 years. It has been grueling, absolutely grueling at times. It's murdered my sleep habits, still haven't recovered. My health has taken a dive. I haven't talked about that in a while, but it has not improved. Radix likely has ulcers due to stress, which she is in the process of going to the doctor for. We don't know that it's ulcers, but we suspect. I hope it's ulcers and not something more serious. It's murdered our health, like, completely. My health wasn't good 3 years ago, but I feel so much worse now than I did 3 years ago. I remember having so much energy to throw into this, and it's a struggle now. It's a struggle. So thank you for recognizing that. Thank you. It's been no cakewalk. It's been rough, but worth it. Worth every bit. And there's still more to come, right? Because we truly need to become the news. We need to get PSP through the rough time that's coming here, that we're in the middle of. Get to the other side of that. After these nasty news networks finally collapse, that's when it's time for us to truly step in and become truly the news. It's going to be a struggle to get there. We still got a long ride ahead of us, people, and we cannot do it alone. I cannot do it without you and without your guys' support. Obviously, I've been trying to I can't even pick this thing up. Obviously, I've been trying to kind of diversify. Y'all know I've started Chronoscope, although that's been kind of put on the back burner for the past couple months. I've been trying to do the comedy thing too, to have a way to get the word out and change people's hearts and minds in a different way than strict truth, using humor, right? I don't know what's going on with Mr. Thump. I hope he's all right. Wouldn't surprise me if he's just sleeping. The guy is an absolute rock star, and a rock, really. You know, we wouldn't be able to do this without Mr. Thump. Yeah. But yeah, I've been trying to diversify, to the idea being that Chronoscope will get to the point where it can support PSB financially if it comes down to it, if PSB is kind of having a rough few months. The idea being that Chronoscope can kind of pick up the slack, that the other thing, the Red Dawn News, the humor comedy, can maybe take in some income. We do have a Patreon set up for Red Dawn News for now. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to, people have been liking that. So I'm hoping that'll kind of take in some income. I realized, like, I don't know, a good 5 or 6 months ago, that diversifying like that would probably be a good idea, just in case they truly try to strangle PSB. Obviously, I'm going to need to be able to support it out of my own pocket. You know, the way it was in the very, very early days, when it was all out of my pocket. You know, clearly they've been trying to do that. So I'm glad I started getting this stuff built. I really need, you know what? Are any of you out there web designers? Can any of you build websites? Anyone able to build a nice, simple website? Doesn't need to be anything ridiculous. Obviously, Nugs is kind of tied up doing the stuff for the PSB website. So I hesitate to put this on him, because I would much prefer that he focus strictly on the PSP stuff, so that can get done as soon as possible. And there's a lot to do, and we might need to do another funding drive for that in a month or two, to make sure that he's able to continue working full time on this until it's done. It kind of depends on how it goes over the next month. Depends on what sort of trouble he's running into. Oh yeah, there's that Wix.com thing. Yeah, build your own. I could try that. But what I need somebody to like just build a simple website for Chronoscope, so I can actually start renting out this equipment. This guy needs to get rented out. I could probably rent this for about $150 a day. Nice old English film lens for 16 millimeter film cameras, Super 16, classic piece of glass, absolutely beautiful. I need to get all this stuff listed on just a simple website, so I can get Chronoscope actually off the ground and taking in some money. Storms in Spokane. Okay, so he might be. Oh, thank you. Presser at 10 a.m. Good. Okay, we will definitely, obviously, be covering that. Vindication 45. Hey, Pam, is there a way to stream through the website? You mean to like watch PSP through the website, or to stream to the website? Like your own stream? If you're talking to just like for us to stream directly to the website, so you all can watch directly from the website, that's one of the things Nugs is working on. But on top of that, as I said earlier, what we really are aiming for is to have it so any one of you guys can stream to the website, just like our own DLive, pretty much. So that's what he's working on. And believe me, I know nothing about building websites, but I know enough to know that that's not easy. It's not easy to do that. Not easy to build that. Especially not easy to have it function smoothly and look professional and feel professional and well done, you know. Just look at Tiger Network, right? I imagine even that very, very basic website that they have for Tiger Network was not easy to build and have it function the way it does. There he is. How you doing, sir?
You know that update?
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. Thank you.
Weird.
To update.
Weird.
My apologies.
Oh, you're good. You're good. That's what I'm here for. Always here to help. Needed.
Oh, it's been one of those weeks. You know, if it could go wrong, it went wrong. You know, in so many ways. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I am back. I am here, and I apologize again. Crazy, but it is a Magnum Friday. And Pam, thank you for hanging in there, buddy.
Yeah, always, man.
You probably had 1,000 things you needed to do. My apologies.
Well, no, I needed to actually talk to everybody. I obviously I haven't been doing my show lately. I've been busy doing other things. So it's good to get to chat with everyone for a while.
Oh, okay. Well,
yep.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for backing me up there. And again, my apologies.
Oh, it's fine, man. I am always happy to pick up if needed. So,
well. So, good morning, everybody. How you all doing? It is a Magnum Friday, so we'll.
You, by the way, you have apparently a presser coming up in about 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
10 a.m. Eastern. Let me find the person's message. Where was it?
Who's doing the presser?
It's supposed to be something on Dominion voting. There we go. So DLive Me 07 says there will be a presser at 10 a.m. Eastern regarding Dominion voting. Does anyone know who the presser is being done by?
Is let's go check right side, because unless it's right side or it's coming right out of the DOJ or something like that, we're probably may not. I don't know. Would mainstream cover cover that?
Good question. I don't know. Okay, there's a link. Breaking last night, officials with Dominion voter systems backed out of testifying before Pennsylvania House State Government Committee today. PA House Republicans will hold a press conference this morning to address Dominion's failure to appear. Interesting. So Pennsylvania State House Republicans, it sounds like.
Yeah, but who's going to be there covering it?
Yeah, how do we find that, I wonder? Live streaming video, PA House. Oh, here we go. Got it. It's on their official website.
Okay, can you
So we can totally carry that.
All right.
Dropping a link for you.
All right, awesome.
Yep, okay. 8 minutes and 49 seconds. It even has a countdown. Sweet.
All right. Well, we'll do a shortened intro, and I'll get that up while the intro is playing, and we'll go to that as soon as we can get it on here. All right, kids. Again, my apologies, but it's just been one of those weeks. So, all aboard. It's a Magnum Friday.
Be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. The American dream.
No fake news, no more lies. Build the wall, drain the swamp dry. We're on a roll, we ain't done yet. Promises are made, promises kept on the Trump train. Get on board the Trump train. We need
And that's what's happening. It's all happening. It's all the American dream.
headed your way on the Trump train. God bless the
The 2020 election is about one thing. What's it about? It's about you.
Well, the left says it's free. Take yours away. They run up the bills. We gotta pay. But jobs are coming back. We're picking up steam. God and families, the American dream on the Trump train. Get on board the Trump train. We need more on the Trump train. Headed your way on the Trump train. God bless the USA. We're too far gone forever. Looking back, yeah, we pray to God we never run out of track. Yeah. On the Trump train, get on board the Trump train. We need for more on the Trump train. Headed your way
beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, ooh, for purple mountain, for majesties above the frowning plain.
I'm a straight shooter. I shoot straight.
The mighty Big Hunters. We should hang some antlers on there.
Turn it up, patriots! It's the Magnum Friday!
You can't pull the wool over my eyes anymore. I know what you're doing. I never saw the situation coming. That's for sure. That bastard darker growing. Can't own me, control me. I'm an independent soul. No for sale, for rent. Not in a plate I roll. Can't have me, degrade me. Emotional destruction. So what now? Stone me. Don't judge me on the win. 'Cause you'll never win. I'm sovereign. You can't pull the rug under my feet. There's the door. Nowhere.
Okay, they're getting ready to start the presser here. So we're
God-fearing guy. He's chauvinist.
okay. So we're going to switch over to the presser and join them just as they're beginning here.
No, come on. Yeah, come on. One Mary. Senators aren't allowed. Good morning. I'm State Representative Seth Grove. I'm currently the interim chair for the State Government Committee and the chairman of the Government Oversight Committee. In these capacities, I've been asked to review the 2020 election.
You don't have the video.
Mind you, with 9 business days before.
There you go.
There it is.
To date, we have passed House Resolution 1100, sponsored by Representative Jesse Topper, to direct the Legislative Budget and Finance Committee to conduct risk-limiting audits on the ballots in all 67 counties and reestablish the Act 35 data report. I don't think that's the COVID tracker. Can't make this stuff up. The committee has sent extensive questions to the Department of State and are currently in the process of sending extensive questions to all 67 counties, election boards, to ascertain how they administered the 2020 elections and what issues they faced. Dominion voting systems, ImageCast X and ImageCast Precinct Scanner are used in the following 14 counties: Armstrong, Bedford, Carbon, Clarion, Crawford, Erie, Fayette, Fulton, Jefferson, Luzerne, Montgomery, Pike, Warren, and my home county of York. This represents 1.3 million people who voted in the 2020 general election, or 19% of the total vote. Dominion Voting Systems has received millions in taxpayer dollars to provide voting systems to Pennsylvania. As you're tuning in today, you're probably wondering why you're not viewing a policy hearing. The committee scheduled a public hearing with Dominion Voting Systems to be held now. The members of the State Government Committee were looking forward to publicly addressing the plethora of accusations of Dominion Voting Systems in a format which would have allowed open and honest dialogue. I was impressed at what appeared to be the willingness of Dominion Voting Systems to address accusations, and it would have put 1.3 million Pennsylvanians who use their machines at ease, including myself. Thinking Dominion was willing to publicly back up their product, which Pennsylvania taxpayers invested millions to purchase and voters entrusted with their sacred ballots, was truly remarkable. I truly felt Pennsylvanians and the nation could get some answers into the truth of the effectiveness of Dominion Voting Systems. Unfortunately, last evening, Dominion Voting Systems lawyered up and backed out of their commitment to the people of Pennsylvania to provide their input in a public format and discuss their voting systems, of which 1.3 Pennsylvanians entrusted. Instead of running towards the light of honesty and integrity, Dominion Voting Systems retreated to the darkness. Why? Why would a vendor of public goods fear discussing their products sold to the public for the public good? If Dominion's products were successful and operated as they were supposed to, why wouldn't Dominion take the opportunity to publicly review its success? How hard is it to say our ballot machines worked exactly as promised and they are 100% accurate? Why, after weeks of accusations, has Dominion Voting Systems not released any analysis of the success of their voting machines to the public in order to stop their accusers in their tracks? If they have nothing to hide, why are they hiding from us? Today, I am saddened to report to the taxpayers of Pennsylvania and the 1.3 million voters who trusted Dominion Voting Systems with their ballots that Dominion Voting Systems has hung you out to dry and slapped you in your faces. Not only are Pennsylvanians more skeptical, but the actions of Dominion Voting Systems last night have led credibility to their accusers' accusations. To date, the Secretary of State has initiated no plans to address any concerns of Pennsylvanians. A concerning number of Pennsylvanians have lost faith in the integrity of our election process. If the elections were conducted above board, the Secretary of State and the Department would be falling over themselves to verify the results and put to rest the mistrust of this election. Trust must be earned. It is up to Dominion Voting Systems to earn the voters' trust. It is up to the Secretary of State to invalidate any rumor or accusation. I would like to call on Representative Dawn Kiefer to review some of the accusations against Dominion Voting Systems that we could have had answers to today, but will continue to process throughout rumor mills across the Commonwealth and across the United States. Representative.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Grove. So I won't reiterate the counties, but 14 counties, mine being one of them in York County, utilize the Dominion software. And Pennsylvanians deserve to know exactly how Dominion systems worked, as well as what software was utilized in our election process, and the security measures that they had in place so that we can give voters the confidence on the election outcomes. Most of us would agree here that we trust the workers in our polling places, and we trust the workers in our counties. There are neighbors and there are people that we elected. But what we don't know, and therefore we can't trust, is the role of third-party companies, right? So when Dominion said they would come in and answer the question, this was an opportunity for them to demonstrate who they were, the services they were providing, the products that they were selling us, and how they were being utilized, and give the voters the confidence that they're looking for. Unfortunately, they're rescinding their acceptance of participation in our committee hearing, robbed our voters of that information. Dominion, questions that we had: did Dominion play a role in the tabulation of the votes cast? We don't know. And was it the same in all the counties? We don't know. Did Dominion program the software in the equipment that was used at the 12 counties? We don't know. It's what we're hearing they're doing in other states, but are they doing it here? We don't know. Was there direct county oversight? Was there expertise in that oversight? You can put anybody to oversee it, but if you don't know how it operates or why it operates, is that oversight? Were test runs conducted before the election? Were they done after the election? How do we know? Does Dominion use open source softwares so that observers can go in and they can see exactly what switches are being turned on and turned off? We don't know. Transparency is key. So if they're doing this, if they used open source software, right, we would know what's going on there. The average observer could take a look to see what that process is. Moreover, how tightly controlled is the source code, and who has control of that source code? For all of the Dominion software that's being used in every single one of these counties. Is it the state? Is it Dominion? Is it the county? We need to know these answers. So we know that we handled just a handful of companies. Actually, I'm sorry, handful of companies have the corner of this market. I think there's only like 4 or 5 in the entire country that provide election equipment and software. We need to know exactly how this is being operated. Having an open source is one of the ways to do that. Blind trust is not something that we can do when software is programmed and operating. Has to be explained. Blind trust is just simply not acceptable. To say we're disappointed by Dominion's last-minute cancellation is an understatement. We have a duty as those constitutionally charged with the facilitations of elections in the state, and it's imperative that we demonstrate that our electoral process and our system was fair, was free, and was equitable. And unfortunately, without having these questions answered, we can't give voters the confidence that they're looking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. The issues and accusations could have been professionally addressed this morning. Pennsylvanians could have been put at ease, but we walk away more skeptical. With that, I'll take any questions. Yes?
CISA declared this was the most secure election in American history. That was after reviewing Dominion and a bunch of other factors, giving Dominion a clean bill of health. CISA reports a federal agency, and then President Trump fired their head on Twitter. So I just don't understand what, I understand what I'm hearing, but what evidence do you have of Dominion than anything else?
So, number one, our process is to fact find. We wanted to fact find. Part of this hearing was to fact find, to bring Dominion in and address all those concerns that are out there. We want answers. She just elevated them.
If CISA has said...
Okay, allow me to mention that CISA has a board that oversees elections and these vendors. Dominion has somebody that sits on that board. Did they participate in those hearings, in those conversations? Were they part of that? So, I mean, I think there's a little bit of a conflict of interest, and it's my understanding that each of these software and hardware companies have people that sit on this board. So, and as you ask, what do you have to say, because CISA says it was most fair, what proof do they have, without having performed the audits of everything, to say that it was the most free and fair and secure elections ever performed? What evidence did they provide? I haven't seen any.
Y'all were here months ago talking about CISA standards for safety of people in this pandemic, and now CISA isn't good enough. It just does not make sense.
Standards.
Than an audit.
Right. So today we were supposed to sit down with Dominion and have an open forum discussion on all those issues. whether they're true or not. Let's have the discussion and knock them down to provide accuracy to our voters. They walked away from the table. There was no reason to do that. They're not being litigated. There's no lawsuit against Dominion that's currently filed. If we as a standing committee, if we as legislators that are duly elected to do oversight of state government, particularly of this election, how are we to do that if everybody that we want to have to ask questions to says, sorry, we can't come before you because we might get litigated. We are not going to get any answers or address any concerns. This needs to we're putting a stop to this right now. If you're not litigated and we ask you to come before us, we expect you to fulfill your promise of coming before us and address the questions that people have. It's not going to change the outcome, but we need to know what happened. Dominion was part of that. There are broad accusations. I didn't say they were true. I didn't validate any of those accusations. We wanted to give them the opportunity to address them. They chose not to. Why? That is what we want to know.
So have you talked to Chairman Saylor?
It adds more skeptical issues with our constituents moving forward. We just tried to have an open discussion. That was the point of the hearing, Steve.
So have you talked to Chairman Saylor about subpoenas? You have subpoena power?
Subpoenas are a tool of the legislative body. They're effective in providing oversight. And that is as far as we're going to discuss subpoenas. Any other questions? No further questions. Thank you all for coming out. Hopefully Dominion will be responding to this with concrete answers to every single accusation that's been out there. Thank you.
Interesting. Wow. Well, the press sure didn't really ask anything. Just like, really, no further. You gave no further questions after that. No questions. Just a bunch of accusations. They just accused them of not having anything, essentially, and then no further questions. That's what the press is going to do. This is why the press needs to end, and people like you and me, I mean you all out there, ought to be the ones in those rooms asking questions. And I would like to get it so any one of you out there can go cover one of these for PSB as a citizen journalist, a freelance citizen journalist. And we'll take what you get and we'll air it. You know, that's what the press should be, not this bullcrap. This is pathetic. This is pathetic. How many of you out there would actually go to one of these events as a freelance member of the press and ask questions? How many of you would actually do that? Give me one if you would actually go do that. Because you can do this. I will actually hold classes for everybody on how to do this. I'll teach you all what to do.
Well, I got to tell you, the end of that conference caught me midstream, if you know what I mean.
It was so quick. They asked nothing.
Yeah, they just pulled the plug.
There we go. Okay, so there's like a half dozen people. Come on, we gotta have more than that that'd be willing to do this. Okay, there we go, about a dozen. Good. We really need a network of people across the country that are willing to do this. Pam, can we listen again? I mean, it's up to Thumper, but...
well, let's see. Right now, I don't think the YouTube channel, I think it needs to be reset. I think you guys are having some video issues over there. Or audio or something. I don't know if it's working, but let's see. Can we? Which one of the streams can we actually roll back on?
We might be able to do it on DLive now because we just became a verified partner of DLive. I don't know if they actually let you rewind, but I do know they let us do okay, it doesn't look like it. Yeah. But they do let us do 40 days worth of video on demand, which I think is it's like an archive, like a 45-day archive.
Okay.
But I'm not seeing where that's at. Maybe I have to set it up.
My DLive screen is not coming up right at the moment. I just activated it here. Well, the other comment that I made out there is, they didn't sound happy. Let's put it that way. The representatives were very, very upset, which is a good thing for the good guys because Dominion has just implicated themselves even more by doing this. But their CIA run operation from the get-go. All right. And the CIA doesn't have, they don't have to, they never do pressers, do they?
Yep.
They don't have to be called. They don't get called in front of Congress, except extraordinarily, and only because the people in Congress are working in collusion with them to hide something that they don't want us to really know the truth about. How many times has that been the history of, these black CIA operations, which this was one of the, rogue black CIA operations. So we should not be overly surprised that this is how this turned out. Wow. But, well, I guess we'll have to see how this plays out in the long run. Any other comments, Pam? Anything else that you noticed there, other than the fire alarm going off in the background?
Yeah, that was funny. And oh man, he started it out with a joke about the COVID tracking.
Yeah,
it was funny. That was great. That he's actually making jokes like that. Good for him.
Yeah.
That was good.
Oh man,
can't make this stuff up, he said. Yeah. So it's good to see our government officials on our side actually kind of aligning with what we believe. This COVID tracking stuff is insane. It's ridiculous. You can't make this stuff up. And he's up there actually saying this. It's awesome.
Is that the COVID tracker alarm?
That was great.
Yeah. I tell you what. I just am amazed. Yesterday, I had some errands to run around town with, and I walked in several places and had to go out to Best Buy and walked in the door. Nobody even batted an eye that I didn't have a mask on. A couple other places I stopped in didn't bat an eye that I didn't have a mask on. One thing I have noticed, the places that are really hyper about this mask thing, they're mid-sized, locally owned businesses. The big box stores and places like that, not so much, because I think that the powers that be that are running in there going, we're going to shut you down. They're going to go, you're dealing with Home Depot or whoever. Here, we've got some bucks, and we will see you in court. And I'm sorry. So they go to the mid-sized, locally owned, successful businesses, and they're the ones that they are threatening. That's what I have noticed. And they're threatening them with their business licenses. They're threatening them. If somebody in your store, one of your employees gets sick, then we're going to shut your whole store down because all your employees will have to be quarantined for 10 days. You won't be able to open up your store, blah, 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 blah. And, to a locally owned business, that's especially if you're retail, that's a death knell. That's a death strike against some of these small businesses, especially at this, with the this whole thing, because they've been under tremendous pressure financially. Their sales are down. Their traffic through the stores is down. People are just not getting out and around. This is so bad. And my only answer to this is, if it doesn't get worse, okay, if this doesn't get worse and there's more of this crap in their bag, when President Trump says the first quarter of 2021 is going to be absolutely over the top amazing. He has not lied to us yet, folks, and unless he's going to start now, I think what he means by that is there are things coming that are going to be really great for the American economy, and there's going to be some changes. We're not going to be, we're not going to go back to the same old norm. There's going to be new things coming, and yeah. As a matter of fact, I see that out there. And Mr. Jolly Green 79, it is his birthday today. And I want to say thank you to my good friend there, Jolly Green. He called me. He says, "Where you at?" And I said, don't ask. But anyway, he's a good friend. He's one of our cult campaign workers. Went over the top, did amazing work during the COPE campaign. He was a tremendous huge help to me, and a good friend. So it's his birthday today. So you know what that means? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jolly Green 79, otherwise known as Hack. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, buddy. You're awesome. All right. Oh, yeah. Got to do that. Anyway, so we're... yeah, you're getting lots of happy birthdays out there, Zach. Happy birthday, my friend. Anyway, so it's Friday. It's a Magnum Friday, and want to say thank you to everyone out there. Hope you're having an awesome day. And oh yeah. So what else do we have on the stack of stuff here this morning? All kinds of fun stuff that we can take a look at. Hey, it's Age of Accountability. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Doing a little better. The procedure I did on Monday's helping a little bit. And I dropped the what's supposed to be the real election map into Zoom. I pulled it off of there's a congressman here a few days back that dropped this particular map into his Twitter. It's alleged that this is the real map from Frankfurt, Germany, and this is supposed to be what really happened. And he's got 410 electoral votes.
Now, is that supposedly, you're saying that is...
this is what they when they raided Frankfurt, Germany, this actually came from a congressman's Twitter here in Virginia that I pulled this off of. Mm-hmm. And it's alleged that this is what was really counted the night of the election. And when there were so many votes for President Trump that it literally broke that algorithm, right?
Right.
So this makes more sense. And if you look at 410, is it 410 the gematria for Donald John Trump?
Well, actually, 41020.
41020. That's right. There you go. I couldn't remember. I knew it was something along those lines.
410 2020.
Yep. So I thought that was interesting. You can drop that into the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see if this turns out to be the actual case. You know what I mean? Especially with California going red. And I still believe Washington was red, but they're better at hiding their fraud than the rest of the states.
Well, Washington wasn't. There was only one county that was actually using a Dominion system.
Oh, really?
And so the rest of what happened here in Washington has been, as described by Chris Gergen, who is Lauren Culp's campaign manager, was through motor voter. signups, and the Department of Licensing has been extremely complicit in handing out
the
voter
and driver's licenses to go
with driver's licenses.
So they did it the old-fashioned way. They ballot stuffed.
And then they also supplied a bunch of licenses to the campaign, the folks that were counting, and they were just handing out voter registrations, and by the thousands. And so it was there's enough evidence out there that and according to our Secretary of State, the Department of Licensing would not cooperate with her office in getting out, providing voter registration information through the motor voter law and their activities with, you get a driver's license and you are registered to vote thing. So, there's a lot of issues there. So, we got a lot of cleanup to do here in Washington State because, they've been at this here in Washington State for a long time. And as a result, I know that they've thrown elections over on the west side of the state throughout the Seattle area. They have been working here in eastern Washington to turn Spokane County blue. When you get out here and you talk to people, I mean, Lauren Culp had 3,000 people at a rally here in Spokane. Wow. At the end, and for a governor race, 3,000 people to show up for a rally is incredible.
Yeah, that's like 30,000 for Trump.
Yeah,
really.
That'd be like a 25,000
from a mathematical standpoint. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. See, I don't think these places ever truly turned blue. I think what they did is they went in and fucked with the voting stuff. While it may not have been Dominion, like you said, they used other avenues and other approaches, and 3/4 of this country is not blue. I'd say maybe 20-25% tops is
no,
blue.
But if you lay that top foundation of the lie that everybody else is voting blue,
then people will follow along.
Don't talk religion, don't talk politics, and then when it's all starting to crash down, you throw in, let's say a virus, a pandemic. Put a sock in your mouth, literally. Don't go anywhere. Don't talk to anybody. Stay 6 feet away and look at everybody as if they are a rabid dog waiting to bite you. And unfortunately, too many people are buying off on that. I had a conversation with a friend of mine. He's totally liberal. He's a smart guy. The guy is he's a pilot. He was he was a pilot in Vietnam, flew helicopters, sprayed Agent Orange all over the countryside over there in Vietnam. And as a result, he'd say he'd come back from missions just covered in the stuff because it would, the blowback and different things. And now he is suffering incredible heart conditions and all kinds of stuff. He was a commercial airline pilot here in the Northwest for one of the major airlines. And I love him. Well, he's got one of our puppies. He goes back to my dogs again. But he's got one of my dogs, and he is he loves his dogs. He's a great guy, but he is so just so against the Republicans and Trump and this. And I was on the phone with him yesterday. I called him up to tell him that Connie had passed, and and he was really, really sad about that. And but he lives out and away, and he doesn't come into town much because of his health condition. You know, he's totally afraid of this virus. And this is a big guy. I mean, you know, the Mike is not somebody you want to mess with. And he is totally afraid of this virus and what it can do. And I know where he gets his news from. And I just told him, I says, buddy, we do disagree on some politics here, but man, Mike, I know where you get your news from, and you got to stop listening to it. They are so lying to you on this stuff. I'm sorry, but they're just lying to you. And I says, I love you like a brother, man, but I know this is hard stuff to take. But he says, well, this virus thing. I says, you know what? You remember how we met? And he says, well, yeah, because he was taken. He had a lady that lived with him. She was kind of his housekeeper. They weren't involved or anything, and but she had some health issues, and he had to take her to the doctor. And he took her to the doctor, but he happened to take her to the clinic that my ex-wife manages. It's in this 4-story office building, and it was a really super hot day, and he had at that point his current at that point it was his current female golden retriever in the car. And so he dropped off the lady, and then he was driving around the parking lot instead of just sitting idling on this really, really super hot day. And my ex-wife noticed this car was just patrolling the parking lot, and she got suspicious. And so she went down and waved him over. And she says, what are you doing? What are you driving through my parking lot like this for? And he says, well, I didn't want to sit still. I've got the air conditioning on. I got the dog and myself in the car and all of that. And he pointed to the dog, and she says, oh, a golden retriever. My ex-husband has a golden retriever. Well, he's got 2, and they're going to have puppies here pretty soon. Or he just had puppies. I think we said she told him that Connie had just had her puppies. And Mike went, really? Whoa! Oh, wow! And he says, well, I've been kind of looking for another dog. And so she told him about where my office was and where I was. And so he came over and he met Connie and Cooper, and he says, yes, I definitely won't. The puppies hadn't gotten there yet. And so he saw Cooper and he saw Connie. He says, yes, I definitely would love to have a puppy. And but that's how I met the guy. So he knows who my ex-wife is. She's an office manager for this doctor's office. All right. And I told him, I says, Mike, you know who my ex-wife is. You met her. You wouldn't have Riley today if it weren't for her. And she doesn't believe this coronavirus crap. All right. It's a false flag. It's bull. And he kind of stopped short, at that point. I says, man, you got to find a different place to look for your news and be willing to accept some ideas that are probably going to be really tough for you to accept. And he got real quiet for a moment or two. And I says, well, it's up to you, man. But we're going to have to get the dogs together because he's got one of Connie's pups, and then and Riley was very quick to get his female pregnant at a very late age, but she had puppies, and he's got one of those puppies from that litter. But he lost his female here about a year and a half ago. But
sorry for your loss, brother.
Yeah, it was. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And but with her condition, we knew it was. She was. Every day was a blessing, and she had a lot of really great days. So she's resting very, very peacefully now. She is in a place that overlooks the field where we walk all the time, and so we'll be able to stop by and have a little remembrance of her. But it's just that's just been this week. That's been this week is gone in a couple of different ways. So.
Yep, there's certainly a part of the family. I remember when we lost ours, still to this day, and that's been a number of years ago. She'd been with us for 18 years. She was an English Labrador, and they have a bigger face, and yeah, it was tough. My wife cried for 6 weeks, so I know. And because of that, I actually, and it's going to sound horrible, but I don't allow any more dogs back into the house because I don't want to have to go through that again, or my little girl to have to go through something like that. Because it's just so heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's difficult, you know. When you get dogs, you get pets. Like I think I said the other day. Thank you, Judy. Yeah, but unless you get a parrot, you know, you're most likely going to outlive your pet. And
that's exactly right.
So. Texas Freedom Road, he says, rest in peace, Thumper. I haven't died yet. It was the dog. I'm just kidding. But thank you guys. What we're dealing with here is this cognitive dissonance where people just are not ready to look at this thing and really say, oh my God, they would do this to us? People, an agency of our government has this kind of power, this kind of influence. They're not even willing to admit that the media it's not a mistake. It's a concerted effort to, psychologically browbeat your butt into accepting this stuff.
It is astounding.
You're going to say something.
It is astounding. I'm shocked at how complicit the media is, because had this happened to Biden, it would have been on every radio station. It would have been on every satellite, right? It would have been this, and they would have bombarded you 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they're so complicit, I'm going to be very excited when they're actually arrested and taken to Guantanamo Bay and they can spend their summers there, where it's summer all year round, turning big rocks into little rocks.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's coming. There's just Patriot Forever. He says, buried my cat yesterday. I'm so sorry to hear that. I lost my Charlie 2.5. Actually, almost exactly 2 years ago. This time of year. All of this stuff always seems to happen to me in November. I'm starting to dread November because there's always something stupid and life affecting that seems to happen in November. Anyway, it could be a couple of years ago, it was a stupid water heater. And I sliced the heck out of my thumb, fixing the vent pipes or the vent system for the gas water heater. Anyway,
I'll come visit in June then.
Yeah, that's the best time. But it always seems to happen in November. And Foss 67, Thumper, you need 3 dogs for the 3-dog leash tie. You need another dog to honor Connie. You know what? If the folks, you folks out there that have been listening to Hyperdrive and talking about how we think the universe works, Alpha Omega and the God consciousness and the different levels of densities and things like that. But in there, it kind of describes that the Alpha and the Omega. And the Alpha is the intelligence. It's the knowledge, and the Alpha is male, is the male portion of the consciousness. The Omega is the female aspect of the consciousness, and that is the energy. You got to have both. you've got to have the energy and the particles to make that, to use that intelligence to, create, so to speak. And when I got to thinking about that after Connie passed, after we'd had a kind of a day or so to kind of wind back, I'm going, there's no energy here. Where did the energy go? And I started thinking about it, and that goofy little female dog brought so much energy into this house. Her attitude, her just way about things. She was the energy here. And I went, wow. When you compare, you take that and add it to what I was reading about the alpha and the omega and the energy and stuff like that. And then, those of you that are married, okay, in a really good balanced relationship, there's the intelligence and the knowledge, and then there's the energy. Does the woman in your life bring the energy? Is that the energy in the home? The reason why everybody wants to come home, because that's where they get the energy. Think about that for a while, guys, and see. I'd like to know, after you've thought about it for a little bit, what your thoughts on that are. Because whether it be a dog or a cat, or it's that female influence that men go to work every day and bring home the bacon, so to speak. But what gives them the energy to do that? To take care of their families, to take care of their wives and stuff like that. What do you think about that, age accountability? What do you think?
Well, I got two stories. The first one is we've got the pastor next door has got a cat, and I am by no means ever been a big cat guy. I've always felt they had an agenda, but this cat loves me. I step outside the door, that cat they got one of those special cat doors out of the house. It'll run out of the house, come out, and it'll follow me wherever I walk to around the cul-de-sac. Mm-hmm. Then it'll follow me back into the house and get up into the chair with me and start trying to rub its head on my chin and everything. So all the guys in the cul-de-sac tease me how that's really my cat. Right?
Cats will do that to someone that has said, I don't like cats. And that'll be the first person that cat goes to. You know that.
Never had a cat like me like that or be around me so much and want to be around me. It's astounding to me how that cat, and then it grows on you, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then you get used to them and you're like, oh, I wonder where the cat is today if it doesn't come out. when I go outside for try and go for a small walk.
Uh-huh.
And but yeah, that cat loves me. So the other story I have is I had had a mutt. He was kind of a hound dog hunting type of mutt. And one night at about, 2:15 a.m. in the morning, that dog went ape shit crazy barking and wouldn't stop barking for a full 15 minutes. And when that 15 minutes was up, I got a call from my mother, or actually my cousin, because my mom was crying too much, that my dad had passed. And we believe that the dog was barking because my dad stopped by on his way, right, mm-hmm. to our apartment at that time, which would have been in Laurel, Maryland. And that's what the dog was barking at, because there was nobody around. There was no broken glass or anything, but it barked sit in the same spot and barked for a full 15 minutes. Louder than I've ever seen a dog bark to this day. I still haven't seen a dog bark like that. And then that is how I found out that my father had passed, was when the dog stopped barking, and then the phone rang and my cousin said, you're going to have to come home. Your dad's passed. He had he had died in his sleep. Mm-hmm. That was my stepfather. My real father was killed in a construction accident when a tree fell on him. but I just there's an intuitiveness about pets and about animals that they have that, and I believe they can see. The Bible talks about piercing the veil or being able to see, right, and why God has protected our eyes so we can't see through that part of the veil. Mm-hmm. And I believe animals still have that capability that originally Adam and Eve and everybody had when they were sixth and seventh dimensional beings before they got, fooled into eating the fruit of the tree of knowledge. So I have a very distinct belief in those types of the God particle, those types of energies, those types of things. When I went, and I say this, but when I went to see the neurologist Monday night, and he was looking at my medical records, 3,432 pages, and he asked me, he says, "How are you even walking around?" Right. So I've been very blessed that I'm still even able to move around the way I do and do anything according to him.
Yeah.
So there's certain blessings and certain things that I think that God provides us a different way to communicate, and for the animals that their sixth sense is a way to protect us and help us and let us know when there's something there. Yeah. So I absolutely believe
they definitely do. Hey, I've got a story here, and let's get to some news here. This is coming out of Gateway Pundit. And it's a story that involves Sidney Powell and Tucker Carlson. Now, I understand that, I've been seeing some stuff. I guess Tucker is going all weird on us here. He is, maybe he's been a deep state sleeper. Who knows? I had heard a long time ago that, he was really kind of a bit of a lib. But he was playing the role on Fox News as being the newfound really strong conservative, and but I guess he's now been called up to show his true colors. I guess I don't know. Kind of like Tucker though. Anyway. He was insulting, demanding, and rude, and I told him to never contact me again, close quote. Sidney Powell goes off on Tucker Carlson.
Don't forget, Tucker Carlson was with MSNBC before he was with Fox News.
Right, yeah.
He was also with CNN with Bill Presser for years in the 90s.
Yeah. So on Thursday night, Tucker Carlson from Fox News told his audience he invited attorney Sidney Powell on his show to share evidence of election software flipping votes. Tucker said Sidney got angry and refused to provide evidence for voting software flipping votes. On Friday morning, Maria Bartiromo asked Sidney Powell how she responded to Tucker. Maria Bartiromo, this was what she asked. How did you respond to Tucker Carlson? Did you get angry with the show because they texted you and asked you to provide evidence of what you're alleging? Sidney Powell answers, no, I didn't get angry with the request to provide evidence. In fact, I sent an affidavit to Tucker that I had not even attached to a pleading yet to help him understand the situation, and I offered him another witness who could explain the mathematics of the statistical evidence far better than I can. I'm not really a numbers person, but he was very insulting, demanding, and rude. And I told him not to contact me again in those terms. So that's how they did there. Now they do have the video, but that's a Fox News video, and we'd have to go piece by piece through it. Yeah, Sidney Powell was not impressed by Tucker's rude and demanding position, and I don't think Sidney doesn't impress me as someone who's going to put up with a lot of crap from somebody. So any comments on that there?
I've always wondered about him. He's turned out to be a bigger disappointment for me than I had expected. Pam was saying, and I was saying, he was on CNN for years with Bill. I think the guy's name was Bill Presser. I can't remember exactly. I know his first name was Bill. and he always ended up kowtowing to him. Right, when you'd watch the two of them on the show, he'd always wear his bow tie and all this other stuff. And he's been what I consider to be a soft Republican for years, or a soft conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact his approach to Sidney Powell, I'm not surprised that would be true, because he only approaches conservatives in that rude manner. Very rarely do you see him actually do that to to one of the hardcore leftists.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been disappointed in his approach towards that, because while he claims to be a conservative and everything else, I have my doubts about him. Right, he's on whoever the winning team is at that point in time, I think.
Yeah, that might seem to be the case here, because there's just a lot of questions here on that. Let's see here.
Fox's viewership dropped like 78% in 2 weeks or something.
Oh yeah, they are sucking the mud big time here. No
I emailed everybody, all my friends. They all watch PSB Live now on D Live. They're like, "What else? You can't." I said, "Well, you don't want to watch Newsmax because they're controlled opposition too, because of the guy that's with Clinton Foundation." And I walked into my buddy's little girl. His little girl has Down syndrome, and we went there last night for her birthday party for a short while. And when I walked in, he had PSB up on his big 73-inch screen. Because, oh man, dude, I love this station. He said, it's great, because he has Roku as well. He says, I get stuff here that will come out into the news for like 2 or 3 weeks. Because he started watching it the day after the election, after what happened with Fox, and I sent it to him. So all my friends, the pastor next door, my buddy across the street, everybody's watching PSB now. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are tuning in, and my buddy Zach there, he's been telling everybody about Patriot Soapbox, and there's a lot of folks here in Spokane who are waking up to Patriot Soapbox. And if you are one of those listeners out there who have discovered us here at Patriot Soapbox, I just want to say thank you. If you are in Spokane, thank you very, very much. Share it around with your friends. I am here in Spokane as well. And, we've got our share of problems in Washington and our share of problems here in Eastern Washington. And we need more people to wake up to what's going on. And if we have any part of that here at Patriot Soapbox, I am proud and honored to be a part of it, so that we can get our country and starting at our cities, our counties, and our states, and then our country, or our country first, either order, or mix it up. I don't care. Let's get back to something that is real, that isn't some kind of a horror film made up by some bunch of sadistic asses who want to do nothing but control your life. So that'll be the end of my mini rant for the morning.
Well, I got a quick question for you. I was coming in on the tail end of that briefing.
Yeah.
So did Dominion get up and walk out, or did they not even show up?
Oh, they didn't show up. They were supposed to show up for an open forum. Mm-hmm. All right. And basically, the way they put it in the one guy that was at the microphone there, the way he put it was, they were afraid that of being after sitting down, that they would end up being in litigation. Well, that's coming anyway, I'm pretty sure. The litigation is on its way. So I don't think they're going to escape that.
Yeah, they're probably headed to a non-extradition country somewhere in the world.
Well, it's a CIA black op.
Oh, absolutely. It's a clear op from the word go.
So much of it, all of it has been. I mean, we've known for years that a component of the United States government, whether rogue or not, have been manipulating in all of these different countries. Okay, when I was in the Navy, I found it kind of interesting that look at the different places where the French Foreign Legion has been involved. Now, most of you go, the French Foreign Legion. The French Foreign Legion is very real, and it still operates today, or it was operating when I was in the Navy, because they were there in Djibouti, in Northeast Africa. One of the bases that we flew into over there, the base in Djibouti, had French Foreign Legion there. All right. Guess where else the French Foreign Legion was? They were in Southeast Asia. The French Foreign Legion and our CIA and all this stuff, they are supposedly non-governmental organizations, right? And if you follow the history of where those organizations have set up operations, especially Southeast Asia after World War II, then you'll also follow the strife that has gone on in our world. And it's been through these organizations that they have infiltrated these countries and manipulated the politics and the politicians in those countries, and initiated political strife, poverty, wars, division within the countries. If you can divide this faction of religion against this faction of religion, or this tribe against that tribe, whatever. Okay. And then look at what they've done in our country. We have so many different areas in our country that can be fractured away and then used to, it's the divide and conquer motive that they use, and look at what they've done, and then you go out and you look for people who are naturally inclined to do things that will support what you do. You don't have to train them. You don't have to teach them. What they look for is they look for people who have a natural ability to just do what they need to do, and then they get them. This person might not have a bad bone in their body, but there's certain aspects of what they do, and then what they do is they work on turning their moral values, ethical values, to a point where they don't care whether they basically turn off the morals and the values, and just tons of money will do it for a lot of people. And other people, if it's the power thing, well, power tends to lend itself more to a psychopathic type of personality. But very few people, are go after power so that they can fix a lot of problems. A lot of people, if you're empathetic towards people's plight and want to help them, typically it's not about power. It's because you have a tremendous amount of compassion and empathy for people's conditions.
Well, dude, I'm still recovering, and I appreciate you having me on for a little bit this morning, Thumper. I got to go back and rest. The vertigo's kicking in, and
can you hang in for just a second or two? Let me grab a fresh cup of coffee. And
absolutely, I got something I can cover for you and share real quick with everybody. So there was a particular rendition that happened not too long ago, this past week, and so I'm going to share something with the chat here. Let's see. So this particular flight you see here that went down to Guantanamo Bay, I've been following. I can't remember the guy's name. I want to give him credit. He does. He's he's a professional in identifying the different planes and how the planes hide their names on these different flight patterns. And some or actually might be some type of Cessna, but it'll come up as a C-130. Well, it's important that everybody knows that based on the NDAA, it's against the law to put prisoners into military planes. So when they rendition them, they have to put them into some type of civilian plane that is rented, paid for, or whatever by the government to be able to rendition some of these people. And right here, where you see this particular mouse, that is the international waters mark. So when these prisoners get flown out of the U.S. and they're headed towards Guantanamo Bay, when they reach here, they're in international waters. And that's where the fun begins. That's where they can start interrogations. That's where they can do all different types of stuff, because now they don't fall under the U.S. law. So I'm going to stop the share of that. This is actually a Libyan plane that nobody's seen, and it wasn't on the radar until after it left Guantanamo to go into Florida. So I'm going to show you who I think that was that they renditioned so that chat can see there's actually things going on. It's just lower key, and you just haven't seen everything yet, but the rest have already started. Stand by. And we'll close that. And here we go, chat. So this senior Libyan Coast Guard commander was arrested for human trafficking. So since he's all tied up, and Bizia had been a crime lord for quite some time, and had ties all throughout the political government of Libya. They gave him to us. I can't prove this. This is just strictly my speculation. And he's now sitting in Gitmo. And his crimes for human trafficking are outrageous. So while that article might be a month old, I think that's who that was, because that plane that I showed you that was headed into Florida had originally come from Libya. And I believe this is who was renditioned to Gitmo this past week. So hopefully that'll be a little bit reassurance. You can see some things happening, but there are certain things that where you see people coming into Guantanamo Bay, they're coming from black sites first. So 9 times out of 10, guys like this have been taken to a black site somewhere and been introduced to the people that handle community relations for our government, and to find out where they sent these people and who's involved in their human trafficking. So rest assured, it's getting done. It's just going to take a little bit longer time.
Yeah. No, I think that things are going to be moving along fairly quickly now, because we do have some. I believe we have some time frames that we've been informed about. I think we need to go back and look through our Q posts because I think that there are certain things that have a time frame, and I'm just gonna make this observation, and it's pretty general, but yeah, everybody going, well, yeah, kind of obvious, but between now and June, we are going to probably see quite a bit, but a ton of stuff is going to be happening in the background.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's really going to pick up the pace once this election is finalized, and President Trump is acknowledged as the winner of the election, and it becomes official. The election is certified, and he has the full weight and authority of the office going forward for the next 4 years. And you're going to see just a ton of stuff happening. And
well, I think they elected Nancy back as House Speaker so she could go to jail where she belongs and take the fall for all this stupidity she got herself involved in. I think that's the only reason they let her be Speaker again, so she could actually be held accountable for what she had done. Because she wasn't going to be the Speaker. There was just no way. They had lost all those House seats, and they're going to lose more when it's all said and done. I can't wait for the president then to show the evidence to the American people. And guys like your best friend, they're going to feel betrayed, dude, when they figure out what was going on and how they were duped.
I think that thought is starting to cross their mind, and it's going to be tough. There's no question about it. And like I said, my buddy Mike, I mean, the guy has just he has the biggest, kindest heart. I mentioned about his housekeeper. His housekeeper was actually somebody he really didn't know. I think he knew her husband. Her husband just walked out on her, left her, and she had nothing. And Mike kind of offered up to her that he would help her out. Well, one day this big truck showed up at his place, and it was she had taken what she had left and packed it in a truck and came over from Montana and showed up at his place and says, "Oh, I'm here." And he said, "Oh, okay." Luckily, he has a nice, real good sized house out, in a quiet, very out of the way spot here in Spokane County, and it's got a nice house. He has a great, he's got his military retirement, he's got his disability retirement, and he's got the disability, and he's got the retirement from his years as an airline pilot as well. He's not hurting. Let's put it that way. Financially, Mike is very well set. And,
well, I hate to cut you short, but I got to get off here. All right. Lay down. I really appreciate you having me, Thumper, and have a great day, chat. Everybody take care.
All right. Well, I appreciate you stopping in. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it. Maybe we can get Pam to put that map up onto Patriot Soapbox and fill that blank on the left-hand side.
Really? I hear you. Oh, man.
Take care, everybody. Have a blessed day.
Have a good one. So anyway, but these people, they have a tremendous amount. They're not all really bad people. They're just, and times I think some people's compassion gets the best of them. And once they get on the so-called compassion wagon of the Democrats, and they start believing the story that, and I'm not defending the Republicans, but at all. Don't get me wrong there. But the so-called evil Republicans, it has been way overplayed, in my opinion, and so it's for a lot of these folks, it's going to be a real tough transition to that. And so we'll have to see. Excuse me if I'm a little distracted here. I'm trying to get has our YouTube channel gone? Are they still not? Oh, for crying out loud! Okay, there it is. They're hiding D3MO stuff here. I just want to make sure that we're okay. Yeah, it looks like we're doing okay there on YouTube there. So Panorific, good morning to you. Baby Rock, good morning. Good to see you out there. Seen you guys. And Child of the King, good morning. Good to have you with us there. Moanon, good morning to you. Divine Jine. Antho Chris, good morning. Bad Dad Joe, how you doing? Let's see, who else? In Trouble, good morning. And let's see, who else do we have out there? I haven't had a chance to really acknowledge a lot of you folks out there in the chat. And we do that every day here on Straight Shootin', especially the Magnum edition. Got plenty of time. So let's see here. Air Dude 58 or 56, how you doing? Let's see. It says, rest in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Buckle up. Absolutely. I agree with you. J9Z, good morning to you. Hot Mike is out there. Got his pugs there. Trailblazing RN, good morning to you. Top Cork 22, good morning. Last stop Homestead, there you go. Half right, good morning to you. Deanna 20 Meyer, good morning, Deanna, how you doing? What's go and on, there you go. Packing Horde. Top Cat 01 New Jersey, how you doing? ATX Patriot, good morning. Texas Freedom Road, good morning to you. Let's see here. Justapug, good morning to you. Good to see you again this morning. Lori Armstrong, good morning, Lori. How are you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. RRRYAN Osiris. Okay, whatever that means. Oh, yeah. You guys, can you do an anon name that's easy to read? I'm gonna challenge you. One that's easy to read. Charmaine, good morning to you. How are you doing? Dee Dee Bender, good morning. Spared Francis, always wonderful to see you. Billy the Kid, you're awesome, dude. Thank you. Andy K, good morning. Sooner Nomad, good morning to you. Yeah, it's just always great to see everybody out there. Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. A lot of things that we still don't know exactly. We know where we're going to go. We just don't know the road yet. We don't know the specific streets. It depends on the traffic, I guess. If you want to put it that way, and so we're just going to have to it's like trying to get across town during the 4th of July parade. All right, and you've got to go right through the area. Well, your normal route would be through the area where the parade is. So now you've got to, you know where you're going, and there's several different options open to you. Just how are you going to get there? And that's kind of the fun of what we're going through right now. Fun or frustration, however you want to look at it. Look at it as a new adventure. All right, it's a whole new adventure, and have plenty of snacks in the car with you, and be prepared to just kind of go with the flow, and just knowing that you're going to get there. Anyway, I have another article here that I'd like to share with y'all. This is coming out of California. California's Newsom imposes new lockdown, includes a county where he dined at upscale French restaurant. The stay-at-home order will last 1 month until December 21st. Could be extended, though. Mike Huckabee is contributed to some of this. Fox News contributor Mike Huckabee on America's Newsroom slams the California governor politicians for not following coronavirus guidelines. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Thursday imposed an overnight curfew through December to stave off the state's resurgent coronavirus cases. The limited stay-at-home order applies to 41 counties that account for nearly the entire state population of just under 400 million. Beginning Saturday, non-essential work movement and gatherings That's a quote. In purple tier counties must stop between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. The purple tier refers to the Golden State's color-coded system that is based on the number of coronavirus cases in each county. Purple, or Tier 1, is the most severe level, indicating that the virus is widespread in the county, with more than 7 cases per 100,000 residents. More than 7 cases. Well, how many more than 7 cases of coronavirus per 100,000? HSS 73 Girl, good morning to you. Color-coded map available on COVID-19.cal.gov shows that as of November 16th, just a few days ago, as a matter of fact, purple tier counties extended from northernmost Siskiyou County to the southernmost counties of Imperial and San Diego. Mariposa County and Alpine County appear to be the only 2 of the 58 counties in the yellow or Tier 1 category where coronavirus cases are minimal. So you look at these counties, around in over on the east side of the state, and so you've got all of these counties here, so there's 41 in the purple, 11 in the kind of a lighter red, and then in the more pinkish looking one, there's 4 counties there, and then 2 in the minimal counties here. Okay. And you can see the population of them there. And, but it doesn't necessarily say, let's see, statewide metrics, 16.5 new. 16.5 what? Is that percent? Is that actual case numbers? And when you start digging in on these things, somebody just looking at these articles, and that's way I have seen a lot of these state articles coming out and local articles. They generalize so many things, and the one article that I read to you from Spokane County here, they actually used a zip code that wasn't even in Spokane County. It was a small community about 45 miles north of me here. Where they had a little bit of a spike, and it looked really big because of the small population in that county. And that's how they're justifying it. But people don't take the time. I don't know how many people here in Spokane actually took the time to look at that article and go say, what is zip code 99100 099 or whatever it was. But I took the time to take a look at it, and it was actually this small little community north of us called Chewelah. And so they throw these numbers out, and people, and that is kind of a local zip code. I don't know exactly where that is unless they live in it. So they don't know that they were actually talking about Chewelah, Washington, not Spokane County. It's not even in our county, for crying out loud. Among the purple tier counties are Napa, where the Democratic governor attended a friend's birthday party earlier this month at the upscale French Laundry restaurant. French Laundry restaurant? Laundry restaurant? Well, it's California, I guess. Even as coronavirus cases were spiking, and as he preached daily to exercise increased caution, his administration didn't acknowledge the birthday dinner until a week later when a reporter was tipped and asked about it. Photos obtained by Los Angeles Fox 11 showed the governor in the company of multiple lobbyists and even 2 of the state's top medical officials. Amid public backlash and accusations of hypocrisy, Newsroom apologized on Monday, calling his decision to attend a bad mistake, quote. Last month, his office was widely ridiculed for tweeting, "Going out to eat with members of your household this weekend? Don't forget your mask on in between bites." Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little, get a little string and pull it, and put the fork in and close it, whatever. Newsroom's latest stay-at-home order Newsom's latest stay-at-home order will last 1 month until December 21st, but could be extended if infection rates and disease trends don't improve. In quote, the virus is spreading at a pace we haven't seen since the start of this pandemic, and the next several days and weeks will be critical to stop the surge. We are sounding the alarm, Newsom said in a statement. It is crucial that we act to decrease transmission and slow hospitalizations before the death count surges. We've done it before, and we must do it again. While non-essential businesses must close by 10 p.m., the restaurants will be permitted to offer takeout food. So viruses don't sit on food. All right? Yeah. We've said it 1,000 times. But, this is a very, very smart virus. I mean, it knows that, oh, wait a minute. I can't go here because governor has put out a thing that says after 10 o'clock, nothing happens. If you're this size of a business or whatever, no, I can't go there because governor says this is insanity. The move comes only days after the state imposed restrictions limiting business operations in those 41 counties, which have the most significant increases in virus cases. And you can believe this because the Associated Press contributed to this report. So, yeah. Let's see. I got another story here. Get it up on the screen for you. Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis unloads on media during fiery news conference. Your opinion doesn't matter. Ellis told reporters from outlets who have ignored or dismissed her claims to look in the mirror. Trump campaign senior legal advisor Jenna Ellis unloaded on the media during a heated news conference Thursday, accusing reporters of failing to serve as unbiased jurors, close quote, in a court of public opinion while reminding them their personal views are irrelevant. Trump's legal team held a press conference in Washington to provide an update on ongoing legal challenges related to the presidential election. You saw that here on Patriot Soapbox yesterday. Ellis stepped to the podium and started by scolding a reporter who shouted a question directed at Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, who had just finished giving lengthy remarks. Excuse me, we're not up to the questions at this point. We're not at the questions at this point, Ellis reprimanded the reporter before launching into her comments about the media. What you have heard, I'm sure, in the fake newspapers tomorrow will be one of two things. Either there is not sufficient evidence that we presented, or we spoke too long, close quote, Ellis said. What you've heard now is basically an opening statement. This is what you can expect to see when we get to court to actually have a full trial on the merit to actually show this evidence in court and prove our case. This is not Law and Order episode where everything is neatly wrapped up in 60 minutes, close quote. Ellis then said reporters who have turned out, in quotes, widespread claims of voter fraud clearly never were court reporters because it takes time to present evidence properly. In quote, this is basically an opening statement so the American people can understand what the networks have been hiding and what they refuse to cover. Because all of our fake news headlines are dancing around the merits of this case and are trying to delegitimize what we are doing here, Ellis said. Let me be very clear that our objective is to make sure to preserve and protect election integrity. Ellis told reporters from outlets who have ignored or dismissed her claims to look in the mirror. In quote, if your fake news network is not covering this or allowing you to cover it fairly and accurately, you should ask yourself why. This is absolutely a legitimate legal basis, close quote, she said. noting that she would be able to dismiss most reporters as jurors from a hypothetical court of public opinion because of biased coverage. And quote, I would be allowed to because of the fake news coverage you provide. You are not unbiased jurors, and until you step out of your role as a journalist and actually go into a courtroom and you are a judge on a bench that has sworn an oath to be unbiased in our separation of powers, then your opinion doesn't matter, close quote, Ellis said. She continued, the facts matter. The truth matters. And if you are fair reporters, you will cover that fairly and appropriately, and you will allow coverage of our legal team, close quote. Ellis wasn't finished accusing reporters of covering only, in quotes, around the margins, close quote, and speculated about how the press would frame Thursday's news conference. In quotes, I've seen all of you taking pictures right now, and I can anticipate what your headlines are going to be. If you are not willing to talk about the evidence that has been presented, then that is absolutely unacceptable for journalistic standards, close quote, Ellis said. And quote, the American people deserve to know what we have uncovered, close quote. Ellis urged the reporters to cover claims made by the Trump campaign accurately for the sake of democracy in America. End quote. You, the press, should cover this fairly and should know that this matters to election integrity and it matters to the future of our nation, she said. Hear, hear. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. She really kind of laid it on him there. That's really awesome. We'll get you a link to that out there in the chat. And by the way, it does look like DMO3 got the YouTube working good. So I'm glad you guys on YouTube have video and audio and you're ready to rock and roll there. That's good. Okay. I'm going to get that link out there for you again there. Share this stuff around. And this is kind of, the sad part is, we have to send stuff like this out that really doesn't deal with the merits of the case. It deals with the reporting of the merits of the real case. This is misdirection. When the argument about getting the news out becomes the news, then it's not the news. This is disinformation. This is distraction. Is what's going on here. If they can become the bigger part of the story rather than the story itself, well, since when is the news, the actual conduct of the news, more important than what it is they're supposed to be reporting on? How bad is that? That's something we Koama. I'm looking at your post there in the in the chat. It says, Thumper, have you heard about how Obama, Soros, Oprah, etc., changed their Twitter picture to black and white? What does this mean? I don't know. I'm not sure what that might mean. I'd have to take a look at the picture and see if there's any clues there. Mary Magdalene, good morning to you. How are you doing? Okay. All right. I'm going to take a quick break here. My coffee filter is full. You know what that means. And so bear with me just a moment here. We'll well, I'll tell you what, that update that I did yesterday from Apple, it is so messing with my machine. It is so messing with my machine. I don't know what the heck is going on here, but if you want to know my opinion, I probably would have been better off saying, no, thanks, I'll wait. But I get these notifications of updates, and I put them off, and I get tired of closing the little window saying, you have an update, you want to upgrade. At least I have the option, and it's not like you folks out there in Microsoft, in Windows and stuff like that, who, they just force it down your throat and say, deal with it. Apple still gives me the option of actually doing the update. So at least I have that option. And what I like to do is I like to wait, and other people are going to upgrade right away, and then they're going to report the problems, and they're going to fix the problems, and eventually maybe get it running the way it should be. I just still can't believe with these tech companies, are they still messing with us? I think they still are to some degree. But being called out the way they have been, I think that a lot of these tech companies are maybe. I'm the inevitable glasses half full guy. All right, that's just who I am, and I expect that people will do the right thing, and I am disappointed but not surprised when they don't. But I always love to see. They have an opportunity to change their ways. They have an opportunity to do the right thing. If they choose not to, that is not, it's not, well, it could end up being, the fallout could affect me, but they are the people that are making the decision. If you make a decision, you have an option to do the right thing or the wrong thing. And you keep deciding to do the wrong thing, and you know in your heart that it is the wrong thing to do, and you don't change your ways, then that's when you're going to be held accountable for that. You will be held accountable for that. And whether it's in this life or the next life, it will be yours to own. So, decide. You have an opportunity here to decide. And they have an opportunity to decide what side of the fence they want to be on. But, we pray for them. We hope that they make the right decision. And rightfully saddened and disappointed when they don't. But at that point, don't own it for them. They have made their choice. But we don't have any responsibility to own it. They themselves, they paid for it. They bought it. Lock, stock, and barrel. They get to deal with it. And with that, here we go. Mail Pouch Chew by the United States Navy Band. Here we go, guys.
When I broke down where the road is winding, looked around and I started finding evidence of a day gone by most folks don't know. Daffodils in a row blooming, an old red barn in ruins, on the side an old painted ad for Mail Pouch Chew. In those days of desperation, the painted barn was their salvation. Working farms said it seemed their better days. Plant the fields, the fence needs mending. It seems the list was never ending. At the end of the month, the Mail Pouch Chew would always pay. We would pray for rain on Sunday, started working hard daybreak on Monday, run into town on Saturday. So much to do. It's a G and a half a turning while the midday suns are burning. The money comes when the good folks buy the Mail Pouch Chew. in that field. It's funny how in times they change, a lot of things just stay the same. The pain that farmer feels is still very real. We still pray for rain on Sunday, started working hard daybreak on Monday, running into town on Saturday, so much to do. It's a G and a half a turning while the midday suns are burning. The money comes when the good folks buy the milk pouch chew. Started working hard, daybreak on Monday, running into town on Saturday, so much to do. It's a G and a half a turning while the midday suns are burning. The money comes when the good folks buy the milk pouch chew, yeah. You gotta buy the milk pouch chew. Hey, yeah.
All right. The Mail Pouch Chew by the United States Navy Country Current Band. I like that tune. It kind of rocks along. Got a good move to it. And I like stuff like that. Especially these kind of times you need something to kind of gets into your tap and toe, It does mine. It definitely does mine. All right, let's see what else we've got over here in the stack of stuff here for you this morning. Okay, let's see here. Chris Wallace seems to have jumped into the fray here. Okay, get this up on screen for y'all. Hope you all are having a good Friday. There's going to be...
Is your credit card debt stressing you out? Take control.
Stupid commercials that come up with these websites. Okay, Chris Wallace gets why many New Yorkers despise Governor Cuomo, in quote, full case of jerkdom. Really? He couldn't have been more obnoxious, Wallace said. Wow. Chris Wallace. Actually turning loose on Governor Cuomo. In quote, Fox News Sunday anchor criticizes the New York governor for getting in shouting match with the press on, in quote, the Brian Kilmeade show, close quote. Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace blasted New York Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo as obnoxious. Well, he's been known for that, so what's the surprise? On Thursday for getting into a shouting match with reporters while falsely denying that New York City public schools would be shut down due to a spike in coronavirus cases. Mayor Bill de Blasio, another jerk, announced schools would close minutes after Cuomo's outburst, prompting Wallace to explain that he used to enjoy the governor's press conference and had a hard time understanding why so many New Yorkers thought he was a jerk. Okay. But now he understands why he is despised by so many residents of the Empire State. Now, come on, Chris. You live and work out of, I'm pretty sure, New York. You don't know this? This is a surprise to you? In quote, yesterday was a full case of jerkdom, close quote, Wallace said on Fox News Radio's Brian Kilmeade show. Wallace then mocked Cuomo for calling a report obnoxious during his meltdown, as the governor was insufferable himself. I wonder it's because he was was it because the governor was complaining about the media? Could it be that actually Cuomo actually said something that was relevantly true about the media? Maybe that's what got his ire up. You think? I wouldn't be surprised. Chris Wallace is, proven to be a card-carrying member of the deep state, I'm pretty sure, just like his father was, like father, like son. And quote, he couldn't have been more obnoxious, more condescending, and to add to it, more wrong, close quote, Wallace said. He's earned his reputation the old-fashioned way, close quote. Wallace joked that it must have been tough growing up in the Cuomo household, as the governor's younger brother, Chris Cuomo, is an outspoken CNN host. Oh, so we're going to defend his brother here. Okay. There were a lot of opinions in that family, I'm sure, he said. Wallace also ripped into Governor Gavin Newsom's extravagant meal at one of California's wine country's most exclusive fine dining establishments, a meal which has been criticized after the Democrat was caught eating out in violation of his own coronavirus restrictions. Do as I say, not as I do, on display for everybody there. It's horrible, Wallace said. If you're going to call for everybody else to do it, it's the old cliche, you've got to practice what you preach. I wonder how hypocritical Wallace is being right there. I think he's being a bit hypocritical himself. Wallace added, in quote, if you look up hypocrisy in the dictionary, there's a picture of Gavin Newsom with a note below saying, and the rest of the media and the Democrats can be included in here, but we'll just use Newsom as our poster boy. Oh yeah. The hypocrisy. There's more than enough to go around, I'm sure, in all of this. Okay. So, just more of the sideshow that has we've come to see from all of these folks, and so it's we. Oh, let's see. Excuse me here a moment here while I'm looking up a couple of more websites here. We'll go over and take a look at see what Big League Politics has on their front page news breaking stuff here. Let's see. Is this actually? These seem like older. Let's see here. Is this actually a... Yeah, this was published 13 minutes ago on November 20th, 2020. Get it up on screen for you here. There we go. Majority of tech professionals surveyed prior to election expressed deep concerns with voting process. So much for this being the most secure election ever. The Information Systems Audit and Control Association, ISACA, released the findings of a survey months before the election of the opinions of tech professionals, showing that a majority of them had deep concerns with the electoral integrity heading into November's election. The fake news media, of course, swept this crucial survey under the rug. The professionals who were surveyed in September listed the rankings of their concerns as follows. 1, misinformation, disinformation campaign, 73%, tampering with tabulation of voter results, 64%, hacking or tampering with voter registration rolls, which is what happened here in Washington State, hacking or tampering with voting machines, both at 62%. Retired Brigadier General, ISACA Board Director Greg Tohill was alarmed at the findings, hoping to throw cold water on legitimate concerns of the tech professionals with regards to the voting process. In quote, the overwhelming majority of localities have sound election security procedures in place, but the public's perception does not match the reality, close quote, said Tohill. Yeah, I'm going to put the reader on this so that we can... Okay, and this is one of those cases where the reader gives us the headline, but not the actual article. I love it when it does that. No, I don't. Okay, this means that governments from the county level on up need to clearly and robustly communicate what they are doing to secure their election infrastructure. As the study indicates, the most real threat to the election impacting all candidates from all parties is misinformation and disinformation campaigns, close quote, he added. Tech professionals suggested the following remedies to allay election concerns. 1, educating the electorate about misinformation, 65%. Using electronic voting machines with paper audit trails, 64%. And number 3, increased training for election and election security personnel, 62%. Well, as we know, they spent a lot of time training these individuals and teaching them either about, they were trained improperly. And so some of these people actually thought this is the way they were supposed to do it. Others were, if somebody questioned, but they could be turned, they would say, well, actually, we don't normally do it that way. We're going to do it this way this time. So just trust me, hand out those Sharpies or whatever it was. All right. And so that's, another big part of the problem. But, in order to do that, you have to have people in key places that are complicit to what's going on. And, they are actually subversives working within the structure of the local campaign staff, the tabulation election staff, who are fully aware of what the mission is and know exactly what it is that they have to do or have done in order to manipulate and adjust for, things not going their way. So anyway, even though the process has been rife with fraud and abnormalities, even though it's been rife, they admit it here, China-owned politicians and bureaucrats have championed the process anyway, as they hope the dubious media ordained outcome can be finalized as quickly as possible. See, that was the other thing. If you can wrap it up, see, that's what they've always been able to do in the past with the trust of the American people in the media, and then the media getting right on board and minimizing as much as they possibly can any of the real truth that would show what was actually happening. And then pushing out their lie on top of that day after day after day after day. And then if somebody comes along that is really truly putting something down that is hard to refute, but maybe a little on the outside edge of, you can't, that much, it's not possible. I mean, you're talking about how could so many be so involved in this collusion? How many times have we heard that as a defense to all of this stuff? Oh, for them to do that? Oh, do you realize that how many people would have to be involved? And it's not it's not coming out in the news. Nobody is reporting this. Well, what about the person that brought it up? That person is reporting it. Okay. But then what happens is that person gets turned into a pariah. This person is a crazy person. This person has lost all touch with reality. So, you see how this whole game works, and we're I know I've talked about this stuff, and other folks on the channel here have talked about this stuff until we're blue in the face. And excuse me, it should be red, but we're blue in the face because of it. So it's a term, folks. I just went to one of those old colloquial terms. Anyway, we've gotten to a point here where it's just, okay, can you just knock off the crap, please? Just stop it. Just go away. We know what you're up to, and you're just prolonging the misery. Your own demise is written on the bathroom wall here. And they included your phone number, your email address, and your social security number. And not to mention your IP address. Okay. We know who you are. Knock off the crap. But as long as some people still give them some credibility by watching and listening and spouting this fake news media diatribe, then we until we're ready and President Trump and his team are ready to take these people down, we're going to have to play it. Let's see. Mr. Purple Tie says there's a Twitter post here. Hang on, Mr. Purple Tie. Let's see. Let me copy that link that you've got there, and I'll save it here. Thank you, Mr. Purple Tie. Hopefully I've got that link saved so that we can put it up here. Anyway, so the November 3rd election was the most secure in American history, my ass. Right now, across the country, election officials are reviewing and double-checking the entire election process prior to finalizing the result. Now, in some ways, it may have been secure because there were people that were watching, recording, and collecting any and all information that they possibly could, tracking the information where it went, allowing that information to go to where it was where they intended for it to go, like the servers that were over in Spain and Germany, and they've got it all mapped out. Now, as far as being secure, I do not call allowing them the options that they still had in flipping votes, using their software, using their machines, and creating this massive mess. But secure in the fact that we were tracking every bit, every byte that was being transmitted amongst all these people, including, I'm sure, some other things that were being recorded and collected as well. And we relied on a lot of people who were there as workers to be the human intelligence on the ground in a lot of this. Remember, we call it human intelligence. And that is your people on the scene providing actual eyes-on reports of what they saw. And those people who have been actively involved and on the ground in all of this are starting to come forward. All right. So the members of the Election Infrastructure Government Coordinating Council, the GCC Executive Committee, said in a statement, while we know there are many unfounded claims and opportunities for misinformation about the process of our elections, we can assure you we have the utmost confidence in the security, integrity of our elections. And you should too. Of course you should. You should trust in the process. You should be able to trust in the process. But we've learned to not to be so trusting anymore, which is a shame. It's absolutely a shame. And so when you have questions, turn to elections officials as trusted voices as they administer the elections. Yes, you have to trust these lying sacks of crap. And, just shake your head up and down. In spite of what you might have seen where your head is shaking side to side, when they say, oh, it's all okay, it's just, it might appear that way, but it's not really that way. Okay. Signatories on that statement include Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, the CISA, Assistant Director Bob Kolatsky, U.S. Election Assistance Commission Chair Benjamin Hovland, National Association of Secretaries of State, the NASS, President Maggie Talhouse Oliver, National Association of State Election Directors, the NASED, President Lori Aguino, and Escambia County, Florida, Supervisor of Elections David Statford. Escambia County, that's the Pensacola area, by the way. And the members of the Election Infrastructure Sector Coding Council, the SCC. Chairman Brian Hancock, Unison Voting Solutions, Vice Chair Sam Durheimer, Hart Intercivic, Chris Wlaschin, Election Systems and Software, Erica Haas, Electronic Registration Information Center, and Maria Bianchi, Democracy Works. These individuals could be convicted of treason if true accountability occurs and all irregularities with the vote totals are rooted out. So, those are, if you look at all these, they create 15 different little agencies to cover this little piece and that little piece and this little piece. And that's called compartmentalization. It's when you start to see that kind of compartmentalization, the hackles on the back of my neck go up, because that is a sure sign that through compartmentalization, you're able to keep people from being able to see the whole picture. Very few people have the whole picture. Okay, I'm being flagged here. It appears that we may have a White House press briefing coming up. So let's go over here and see what we've got. Alrighty. It's okay. Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany holds a press briefing. Live stream starting soon. Okay. They don't even have it so we can actually go live just yet. So what I'll do is I'll set this up on the other machine, and we'll monitor it on the other machine. And as soon as I can see it go live, we'll go back to this just to make sure. Yeah, it hasn't gone live yet. And 12 p.m. Eastern time. So let's see. That is, let's see. We're at 9 o'clock now. It should be starting any time here. So we'll keep an eye on that. And as soon as they bring that up live, we'll get over to it. And I appreciate the heads up on that. I think that was Mr. Purple Tie brought that to my attention. So thank you for that, Mr. Purple Tie. Appreciate you. And RSBN is going to be there as well. Okay, well, let's take a look at what we've got for RSBNs. Very good. Okay. Golden State Times has the picture up. Let's see who else has. what is right side doing here? Right side is reporting from outside the White House right now, but nothing actually going on in the press room. So we've got the White House live feed ready to go, and it looks like they're going to go live with it as soon as it begins. So we're ready. As soon as they go with this, we will jump out there to it. All right. So let's go back to where. Oh wait, that's all right. I'm gonna drop the share here for a moment, and we'll see what else we can come up with. Some news between now and when they get this press conference going with Kaylee. Okay. Let's see here. You know, something we haven't taken a look at here in a little while. Let's take a look and see how things are kind of shaping up on badboys.us. Okay. Let's see if they've done any updating on this. I've shared this screen with you guys a few times. This is the cases as they stand, as last reported. I'm not sure what the actual when they just updated this, but here you can see. Well, I started here at Washington State. That's where I live. Sorry about that. But total cases 8,422. Of that, there are 3,786 sealed cases. Unsealed, there's 4,636 cases. 125 human trafficking, pedophile 127, drugs 835, firearms there are 415 cases. Let's see, 199 cases of frauds. Rackets and RICO is 27, and we're still up there, you know, among the best of them with public corruption at 226 cases of public corruption. All right. Let's go down here and check out California again. Human trafficking, 238. They have a total number of sealed cases, 33,000, or sealed cases, 32,729. 32,729 sealed cases in California. They've unsealed 58,378. 283 human trafficking, pedophile 280. We have firearms violations at 1,476. Illegal aliens, 9,010 cases there. Frauds are up at 1,352. Rackets and RICO, 341. But public corruption is less than what we have here in Washington at 196. Okay. Let's go over to one of our other little blue pockets, and Arizona there. They have their major number there is 9,610 illegal alien cases. Public corruption is 28. Rackets and RICO is 80. Okay. And as you can see here, sealed cases, 4,504. So, and then we get over here to New Mexico. Again, your illegal aliens is 8,276. There are 67 cases, and rackets and RICO 78, and public corruption 17. And then another one of our little blue pockets here would be Texas. And let's move the map around here a little bit. So Texas, we're looking at 19,009 sealed cases. Human trafficking 576, pedophiles 537, drugs 10,395, and illegal aliens 38,639 cases for illegal aliens. And this isn't necessarily okay. The total number of cases. This is in the total number that you see here. Total number of cases is 185,008. Okay. And so a lot of these numbers that I'm reading off in the categories don't necessarily mean that they're sealed or unsealed. Okay. but they've actually outstepped us in Texas with 230 public corruption cases, and rackets and RICO. You're looking at 489 cases of rackets and RICO cases out there. Now, if you want to talk about cases, not coronavirus cases, but actual cases that mean something, these are the cases that need to be paid attention to. And it doesn't mean you have to stay in your home and wear a damn mask, unless the mask has made you, the intention is that you don't share this with people. All right? Because when you start showing this to people, it becomes quite clear we have some huge problems in this country. My other question is how many of these cases, how many people are actually being pulled into the military courts, not the federal courts, not your state courts, but the military courts, and those cases are the ones that are being renditioned off to Gitmo or wherever else. Now, a lot of people are saying that some of these people are being renditioned away and to these places where there is no legal jurisdiction. But I would have to say that President Trump, I don't think is going to operate that way. I mean, if you want to operate the same way the bad guys did, then, what is your case for, doing it the right way? You've kind of stepped over the boundaries. You can't, now in a state of war though, okay, there's a different set of rules, a different set of laws, regulations, or whatever. If we are actually in a very quietly declared state of war, then there's a different set of guidelines when you're at war than when you're dealing with some of this stuff peacetime, which was supposedly the case when the CIA and all these folks were doing all this really off-the-wall stuff. So anyway, let's go down here to Florida, another one of our highlighted states here. And we've got a total case load there of 18,318. Sealed cases, 1,909. Unsealed, 16,409. Human trafficking is 350. Pedophiles, 356 cases. Drugs, 2,653. And then we have firearms at 1,590. Illegal aliens, 1,949. Fraud, 1928. RICO, 457 cases of RICO. That's kind of telling. And then we have public corruption at 232 cases of public corruption. So there, between Washington, Texas, and Florida, the public corruption is quite evident. Okay. Virginia is always an interesting one to look at as well. We have a total number of cases of 13,509 total cases. Of that, 6,073 are sealed. Human trafficking, 149. Pedophiles, 147. Drugs, 1,661 cases. Kylie is at the podium here, guys. So we're going to go over here.
Achieving a COVID vaccine that is over 90% effective. We know Moderna is 94.5% effective, Pfizer 95%. That is extraordinary. In July, the Trump administration, as part of Operation Warp Speed, agreed to provide Pfizer with $1.95 billion to manufacture and distribute their COVID vaccine, allowing this vaccine to be provided free for the American people. While Democrats were pursuing a highly divisive and entirely baseless impeachment endeavor as far back as January 13th, this president, the Trump administration, and the National Institute of Health was partnering with Moderna and working on this vaccine for the American people. But that's not all. This administration has remained engaged on the development and distribution of a safe and effective vaccine throughout the year. Began in January and continued thereafter. On May 15th, Operation Warp Speed was launched. On September 16th, we released 2 documents outlining a strategy to deliver a safe and effective vaccine. These documents were the strategic distribution overview and the interim playbook for state, tribal, territorial, and local health programs and partners. On September 23rd, we provided $200 million to jurisdictions to support plans for eventual distribution. On October 14th, we provided $31 million to Sitvia for vaccine-related consumable products. On October 16th, we made agreements with CVS and Walgreens to administer vaccines to residents of long-term care facilities. On October 21st, under the PrEP Act, we issued guidance authorizing qualified pharmacy technicians to administer the vaccine. On October 30th, we announced that McKesson Corporation will produce, store, and distribute vaccine ancillary supply kits on behalf of the Strategic National Stockpile to help healthcare workers who will administer the vaccines. And on November 12th, we announced the partnership with large chain pharmacies and independent regional ones to deliver safe and effective vaccines. The unprecedented response to this pandemic has already saved many American lives. And as you can see, this timeline was ongoing. This was a long process and one that we are very proud of. Now, with multiple safe and effective vaccines just around the corner, we urge all Americans to wash your hands, socially distance, wear a mask when you cannot do so. And with that, I'll take questions. Kevin.
Kaylee, thanks. I'm going to ask you a question that I'm asked fairly often away from the White House, and that is with respect to what Rudy Giuliani and the legal team on the campaign side had to say yesterday. People asked, let's suggest that, yes, there is evidence of fraud, irregularities, even malicious intent with respect to vote totals. The question is, what then would be the pathway or strategy to overturn what the campaign believes is a flawed election? Are we talking about a judicial pathway? Are we talking about a legislative pathway? And a follow-up, how soon might Americans be able to get their hands on a COVID vaccine?
Yes, so to your first point, I would say this. There's been multiple pieces of litigation filed across the country by various individuals, the campaign and others. I will leave it to the campaign to make those determinations as to how to proceed. But the president's been very clear. He wants every legal vote to be counted and to make sure no illegal votes are counted. But with regard to a vaccine, we believe that there will be 40 million doses available by the end of the year. Again, this is extraordinary. This is the fastest vaccine in history by fivefold. It's really extraordinary progress. You've heard Dr. Fauci, among others, say that, and it was only made possible because of this president who said at the same time I'm pursuing a vaccine, I'm going to do something novel. I'm going to manufacture it. So many American lives will be saved thanks to President Trump and the great work of Operation Warp Speed.
Can I follow up one more? Just one thing about the COVID vaccine. Is there a concern inside the White House that a lack of working with a potential or presumptive President-elect Biden team will somehow slow down the distribution of the COVID vaccine?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. It's an important one, and not in the slightest, because in fact, I did hear the former vice president say yesterday he was concerned about not being able to distribute a vaccine. He shouldn't be. Maybe he hasn't seen, but we have publicly available that plan that I mentioned in my opening. It's the COVID-19 vaccination program, the interim playbook for jurisdiction operations. This is publicly available if the former vice president would like to read through it. Beyond that, I would say that we've already, going back months, partnered with the 64 jurisdictions in this country to make sure that they each had individualized distribution plans. Those have been assessed. Those have been made certain that they're good and operational. So this work has been ongoing. There's a distribution plan in place, which is why you heard General Perna say yesterday that within 24 hours of getting that EUA, the emergency use authorization, we will be able to distribute this all across the country.
When are you going to admit you lost?
Yes, Kevin. Yeah. Sorry, Mario.
Okay. Thanks, Kaylee. What is the president planning to discuss this afternoon with the two Michigan lawmakers? And will he ask them to have the state legislature appoint electors who will support his reelection? What's the nature of that meeting?
So he will be meeting later on. This is not an advocacy meeting. There will be no one from the campaign there. He routinely meets with lawmakers from all across the country.
When will you admit you lost the election? Kaylee, at what point does the president concede the race and allow for a proper transition to the Biden team?
So right now there's ongoing litigation. There are, what we know, 74 million Americans that voted for this president. That's more votes than any president has gotten in history. It's really extraordinary. And there are very real claims out there that the campaign is pursuing. 234 pages of affidavits publicly available in one county alone. That's Wayne County, and 2 individuals on the canvassing board there that have declined to certify. So these are real claims. These individuals deserve to be heard. This was a system that had never been tried in American history, mass mail-out voting. It's one that we have identified as being particularly prone to fraud. So those claims deserve to be pursued.
Yeah. Has anyone from the White House spoken with GSA, with the director of GSA, about the timing of ascertaining who the next president will be, and has any pressure been applied to her?
Absolutely not. GSA will make the determination of ascertainment at the right moment. Right now, there's a constitutional process that's being played out. There are questions being asked in court, but the GSA will determine when ascertainment is reached.
Can I just ask one other question, which is Senator Lamar Alexander today has put out a statement encouraging the Trump administration, in the absence of ascertainment, to begin allowing the Biden team full access to everything they need for a transition, access to agencies, access to real-time data. What's the harm in doing that?
So there's a Presidential Transition Act that determines exactly what an administration needs to do in advance of an election, and we have done everything statutorily required, and we will continue to do that.
It's after the election now.
Thank you. I have a question first, a follow-up on the transition. Has the president or anyone in the administration instructed officials not to engage or have conversations with members of the Biden transition team?
No, I've certainly never been instructed that. I've never heard of an instruction to that end.
Okay, and my second question is about COVID, because yesterday, a lot of what we heard from the doctors, they've been saying since the end of March. Back then, the projections were that 100,000 Americans would die. Now, as you know, we've surpassed that by 2.5 times. Did the administration fail to communicate how serious this threat was to the American people? Or how else do you explain what went wrong?
Look, I would say the initial projection that our doctors gave us was 2 million people that would lose their lives. And it's a tragedy anytime one life is lost, but we are far below the 2 million that this could have been. We took very aggressive measures at the beginning of this with the China travel ban, creating the greatest testing system in the entire world, therapeutics, the fact that we have 6 working therapeutics right now, the fact that we continue to identify more and more, the fact that I believe we have a chart on this, a fatality chart. It's deaths by 100 for age and month. And as you can see, deaths have come down for every age group. And for those over 70, that line, that red line, is a testament to what this president has done. Therapeutics, monoclonal antibodies, that is a recent one, that reduces hospitalization in high-risk seniors with moderate to mild COVID by 70%. That's American ingenuity rising to the occasion, and President Trump oversaw all of this. But of course, we are seeing cases rise, and it's very important. Wash your hands, socially distance. We're taking this seriously.
Do you think the mixed messaging contributed to that? Because just this week, for example, yesterday, Vice President Pence wanted to make clear that they supported state and local decision making. Just 2 days ago, you called some of those state guidelines Orwellian. So how do you expect people to know what to do with all this mixed messaging?
Well, 2 things can happen at once, and it's this: taking COVID seriously, engaging in aggressive mitigation, but also recognizing that the American people have certain freedoms. And it is by definition Orwellian for a state like Oregon to say, if you have more than 6 people in your family congregate in your home, we can jail you for 30 days. That's not the American way. The American people know the CDC recommendations, know the guidelines. We've been talking about this for 10 months, but the American people still have certain freedoms, still have autonomy, and still can make important self-responsibility decisions themselves. Yes, Deborah.
Thank you, Kaylee, and nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Last night, Tucker Carlson said that campaign attorney Sidney Powell had failed to provide evidence for her assertion about communist money in the 2020 election. And Byron York, another journalist who's been very fair to this White House, said that it was a turning point, Rudy Giuliani and the conduct at that press conference, where Republicans were feeling that the legal maneuvers just aren't working. So did you all have a reaction to that when you saw that and read about it?
Again, that would be a question for the campaign. We at the White House are aggressively working on COVID, winding down the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, among other issues. There will be a drug pricing announcement later in the afternoon as well.
Okay, since I'm the cooler, could I ask a question for Jackson Richmond of the Jewish News Syndicate, who couldn't be here because of social distancing? And his question is about Jonathan Pollard. His parole conditions are set to expire tomorrow. Is the president willing to commute his parole conditions or pardon him if the DOJ extends Pollard's parole? Have you been getting any calls from the Jewish and pro-Israel community to take action on this case?
I haven't heard about that. I haven't looked into the particular case, but if he shoots me an email, we'll take a look at his question.
Thank you.
Yes.
So back to the topic of concession, like we said earlier, is there something that the president needs to see before making that call? Is it the end of these lawsuits, whenever they do wrap up, all of them, states certifying results or different counties, or December 14th when the Electoral College casts its ballots?
Look, the president, again, is pursuing ongoing litigation, taking it day by day, and we'll wait for that litigation to play out.
So just to clarify, it's the end of that litigation that we would need to see before getting a call?
There's an entire constitutional process of electors casting their ballots, and I will leave that to the president. Yes. Chanel.
Thank you, Kaylee. Contrary to the court of media opinion, there is real-time data showing vast irregularities in the voting system that we have watched over the last few weeks. I asked this question at the campaign, and I ask this now, the White House. Where is our FBI in this entire scheme? Are they looking at any of the evidence that this White House or the campaign have presented in terms of real-time data evidence of voter irregularity? Where is the FBI?
Yeah, I would refer you to the FBI on that, to the DOJ on that. There's
spoken with the FBI in the last 3 weeks.
Not that I'm aware of. But look, I would say that there are real questions on mass mail-out voting. We have put those questions forward, and we've said this for the better part of a year. There was a bipartisan commission that talked about and identified the real potential for fraud with mass mail-in voting. Also, something that I would note is just we talked a lot about transfer of power in the election, and it's worth remembering that this president was never given an orderly transition of power. His presidency was never accepted. In fact, before his election, we know Crossfire Hurricane was launched by Peter Strzok to pursue a baseless allegations about the president's ties with Russia. That's before he was president, trying to subvert the will of the American people. We know in August, Peter Strzok wrote a text message about an insurance policy against a Trump presidency, once again trying to silence the voice of the American people. In 2016, we know in October that there was a FISA warrant taken out to spy on the Trump campaign. And then the American people spoke, and they spoke commandingly in electing President Trump despite all of the odds. And what happened after he was elected? You had 70 lawmakers say we're not coming to his inauguration, Democratic lawmakers. You had Elizabeth Warren saying we're going to attempt to obstruct the Trump transition by urging the Government Accountability Office to investigate the incoming Trump transition. In January of that year, you had President Obama have a by-the-book meeting where they talked about the Logan Act, using that act to go after Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Just before the inauguration, you had BuzzFeed promoting and publishing this bogus Steele dossier that's been widely debunked. And then for 2 years, you had the Basis Mueller investigation, which searched for collusion, found none, and exonerated President Trump. While in 2016, President Trump became the duly elected president, many sought to undermine him, discredit him, delegitimize him, and deny his victory. There were no calls for unity. There were no calls for healing. So while every legal vote is counted, let us not forget the inexcusable transition or lack thereof that President Trump had to endure in 2016 and 4 years into his presidency. Thank you, everyone, for the very good and substantive questions today.
Do you understand that you lost?
I don't call on activists.
I'm not an activist, and you haven't taken questions since October 1st, and you just took
Oh, Kaylee. Oh, Kaylee. Yeah. There's obviously a loudmouth in the room there that just could not resist shouting out all kinds of nasty crap. I wonder who that was. But obviously she wasn't too awfully bothered by that. So yeah. Let's see. What are you guys saying out there? Let me take a look at the chat here and see what you guys are saying. Yeah, who is the big mouth? Absolutely, Anto Chris. I want to know who that was. Yeah. Just as we were getting to the good part, as usual. Yeah. Dee Bender, ruh-roh. Yeah, I don't call on activists. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Lionheart, 777.com. Absolutely. Let's see. This seems important. Dominion refused to testify before Pennsylvania House Committee today. Wired up instead. Yeah, we actually covered at the top of when I got here. I got here a little late this morning. I was Bueller this morning. Yeah, so I was the Bueller. I'll accept that. Yeah, the Pennsylvania legislators did a presser first thing this morning, and they went and covered a lot of that. They were obviously very, very disappointed that the Dominion folks refused to come in and have a discussion. It wasn't an official investigation. It was going to be more of a maybe a fact-finding, kind of thing. But she. Oh yeah. So let's see here. Looking at some more of your comments here, folks. Yeah, you guys get it. I guess some of you guys are having some issues with some of the feeds. They might be buffering a little bit. Well, yeah, we'll. That's just more of modern technology doing its best to keep you informed, right? Yeah, you got to love the little lady there, Diamond Deuce. Absolutely. Nancy in her full quiver, yeah. Let's see. Wonder if the activist has a Twitter site. Hint. Yeah, she doesn't take any crap, does she? You gotta love her. Donald Ray Link, leftists are bereft of brains. They only have feelings. Absolutely. Okay. Well, we were waiting for the presser there, and so you kind of got a chance to see what is going on there with the caseload across the country. Obviously, things are in the works, and okay, and they're you just how many people just want to just take some of these people out and take them out back and just wake them up with a 2x4 against the side of the head, because they continue to act as though that this meat sack that the Democrats put up as their candidate for presidency actually has any hope at all of actually taking the Oval Office. okay, and becoming the next president of the United States. As we know, as President Trump has promised, and, that man doesn't make a promise he can't keep. Okay? And I'm sure he's not going to start now. And as a result, there is no way that Joe Biden is going to be the president of the United States of America. It's just not going to happen. Okay? So, this next one kind of speaks to that. And, the fake motions that these people are going through to try to support this story, and that's all it is. It's a story. It's not news. It's a made-up story to try to lend credibility to some people's fanciful idea that this man is actually not only capable but able in more ways than one to assume the office of President of the United States. Biden teases Treasury pick as imminent. Here's who's on the short list. Oh, this ought to be interesting. The president-elect is expected to announce his choice shortly before or after Thanksgiving. President-elect Joe Biden, president-elect. Oh, really? Fox News. Really? President-elect. By whom has that been qualified? So, they start out with two words. It's already a lie. The team announced on Thursday that he would be announcing his pick for Treasury Secretary around Thanksgiving with a handful of names believed to have been considered. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, yeah, sure, has received arguably the most attention, with progressive groups pushing Biden to tap her for the role. However, there have been mounting doubts over whether Warren would make the cut, considering she would vacate a seat in a state where a Republican governor would have control over her interim replacement. The prevailing view is that Democrats may not be able to afford to lose a seat in the chamber with the partisan power balance at stake. I have a feeling that partisan power balance is definitely going to change. And just exactly how that's going to play out is just one of those many roads that you're gonna that I was discussing earlier, as far as where we're going, but we're not sure just the course, what roads we'll take to get there. There's many ways to get there, and it all involves in how they decide to, or how it's been decided they will play this out within the Trump administration and the Drain the Swamp team. The position currently occupied by Steven Mnuchin will be exceedingly important at a time when the economy is battling a coronavirus-induced recession, with a second wave likely to cause more problems over the coming months. Here's a look at some of the other names that are believed to be on the short list for the cabinet role. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen. Oh, there's a sweet one. Former Federal Reserve Vice Chair Roger Ferguson. Oh, look at it. They're all, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 names all came from the Federal Reserve. Wow. Go figure. Federal Reserve Governor Lael Brainard. Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President, CEO Raphael Bostic. Former Deputy Secretary Treasury Secretary Sarah Bloom Raskin. Former DreamWorks Animation Chair Melody Hobson. From DreamWorks? Really? Well, I guess if you want to re-energize this nightmare dream that they have envisioned, maybe that would be appropriate. Former Treasury Undersecretary Gary Gensler and Rhode Island Democratic Governor Gina Raimondo are the some of the people on the short list there. Yeah, Janet Yellen. Yeah, I'm sure that she would be just perfect for the Biden team. So those are some of the folks on the short list there, coming out of the what's left of the Biden for president. Basically, we're having an avalanche. It's wiping all this stuff clean, but along the edges of the avalanche, there's still little pieces of stuff falling in and kind of rolling down the hill. Those loose pieces that are getting shook loose. Now this next one here is specifically designed to draw in the folks that aren't well educated as to what's going on.
Head out on your great American adventure to Cody, Yellowstone.
Again, Fox News and their, Fox News seems to be lately, you pull up their website and within a few seconds, one of their videos starts. Push for Biden to cancel student debt using an executive order grows. 239 organizations urge Biden to cancel student loan debt on day one of his presidency. Oh, yeah. Well, imagine the appeal that has for people who have massive student debt, are being hit financially by the coronavirus crap. Maybe they don't have jobs. And, they're trying to figure out, I've got all this student debt. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to make it? What's going to happen? And, they're trying to, come up with a way that they're actually going to be able to utilize the so-called education that they got. That's probably, worthless if they got it from any of the major colleges, depending on what they trained themselves for. Even some of the technical fields, okay? Because I truly believe that in the technical fields, science and math and things like that, I have a feeling that a lot of that's going to get shaken down to its foundations as well, because of some of the stuff we talk about on Hyperdrive, as far as the real way that the universe works that we have been lied to about. And things that go into that area. Now, I know that's a little woo-woo for the straight shooting Magnum edition, but it's just a feeling that I have. We've been lied to by so many things, including our science, and because they have intentionally, I truly believe, they have thrown spoilers into a lot of our science and things like that, in which that a lot of people are going to have to go back to school and relearn what they thought they knew, because some new variables are coming into the scene here. On Wednesday, 239 nonprofit and community organizations, including the NAACP and the American Federation for Teachers, urged the incoming president to act unilaterally and cancel nearly $1.7 trillion in student loan debt, arguing it could stimulate the pandemic-stricken economy and reduce the racial wealth gap. I don't think so. Number one, he'll never get the opportunity. Number two, that's really not a solution, at least for those reasons. All right. Before the COVID-19 public health crisis began, student debt was already a drag on the national economy, weighing heaviest on Black and Latinx communities, as well as women. The groups wrote in an open letter to Biden and Vice President-elect, presumed by the press, the Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. That weight is likely to be exponentially magnified given the disproportionate toll that COVID-19 is taking on both health and economic security of people of color and women. See, again, notice how they're using, color and women in order to, elicit a little compassion, a little racial guilt thrown in there, misogynist guilt, whatever. The groups did not specify how much in loan debt they believe the Biden administration should forgive. The initiative was spearheaded by Americans for Financial Reform, the Center for Responsible Lending. Since when have we had anything that came close to responsible lending? Demos, the National Consumer Law Center, and Student Borrower Protection Center. Now, again, look at some of these organizations. Can you say, part of the deep state? Yeah, I would guess that, there might be an uninformed organization or two that is involved with this, thinking that it would be good to do this. But again, those people who are most likely complicit with a lot of this stuff that's been going on are the ones out there that you're supposed to rely on to be working on in your best interest when, in case in fact, they are not. And quote, we cannot wait a second longer for debt relief when we know the president has the authority to cancel student loan on day one. Does he? Natalia Abrams, executive director of the nonprofit advocacy group Student Debt Crisis, said in a statement, in quote, with so much at stake, this is the most urgent opportunity to help the country heal from the health crisis. Is this live? Okay, no, this is something else. Okay, sorry. Anyway, with so much at stake, this is the most urgent opportunity to help the country heal from the health crisis, heal from economic harm, and heal the history of racial disparities. Oh, of course, yes. This is going to solve all of the racial disparities. More free stuff. You see where they're going? They're using free stuff to fix this racial stuff. Yeah. Let's throw a big, huge carrot out there. They'll like us for that, and then we can continue to keep them on the reservation or the plantation or the slave farm, whatever you want to call it. Under that legislation, economically distressed borrowers would immediately have $10,000 in student debt forgiven. The government would also cover monthly loan payments for people with private student loans until September 2021 and forgive $10,000 of their debt. Immediate $10,000 forgiveness of student loans, helping people up there in real trouble, close quote, Biden said on Monday. Now, really, okay, wait a minute. First off, you don't have money to pay for it anyway. You're out of a job. You're working bare, minimum wage, reduced hours. You have to wear a damn mask. Okay. You're just getting by. So they hang this carrot out there of $10,000 on a loan that you can't even begin to thinking about even paying in the first place. All right. And is there any guarantee that they have a plan to bring our economy back? Where's their plans for actually bringing our economy back? What you see them, this is an offer to remain in slavery for all intents and purposes, because now you owe us. Okay. What about the people that have, there's people out there that have spent or borrowed, $50,000, $70,000 for a college education, and they can't find a job. And, $10,000 out of a $75,000 student loan? Are you kidding me? We don't see President Trump throwing out these kinds of offers, do we? Do you wonder why? Why isn't President Trump saying, "Oh, I'm going to forgive all your loans"? And no, he's just saying the economy is going to get better. The economy is going to become a real economy, not a manufactured set of numbers on a book that have been used to keep people's hopes alive in some cases, and then you see the oops, and then all of a sudden, we have one of these bubbles burst. Everything that they've done has been manufactured. And as a result, they manufacture the ups and they manufacture the downs. And who walks away with a pocket full of money every time? Very few are the good guys. But the major portion of the harvest of that profit has gone into Wall Street and their complicit friends. Trillions, literally trillions of dollars have been stolen by these people from you and I all across this country. Trillions. Tens, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars has been stolen. And when you look at just the hints that we have in the presidential executive orders, where when we wrap these people up, everything that they own, every dime down to the last penny, will be stripped from these players, these actors. We're talking about Google. We're talking about Facebook, all of these so-called private organizations. In some way, they are going to become the confiscated property that now belongs to the American people. It doesn't belong to the White House. It doesn't belong to the Senate. It doesn't belong to the Congress. It belongs to we, the people. Those assets, all of them, down to their wedding rings. I don't know if we probably want to melt those down because they've got satanic crap all over them and probably DNA evidence of some of their crimes. It's all been ill-gotten. And as such, when they are convicted of these heinous crimes, and all of that is now a seized asset. Imagine the liquidation sales. Well, we've joked about this before, but it's becoming very, very real. All of these assets, real property, private property, gold, silver, houses, cars, boats, yachts, all of it. But when we're talking about some of these businesses, okay, a lot of these people own viable businesses. Maybe a major car dealer. How about a car manufacturer? How about a lot of these deep state companies who have been feeding the technology of the deep state? How about those companies? They've been as complicit as well. Okay, what do we do with those things? Because those companies, those entities are a part of our economy, but they're going to have to be operated responsibly and within the rules and the guidelines. And we're going to have to re-establish that infrastructure, or else we will be in trouble. But that infrastructure is going to have a totally different moral attitude, a moral and ethical direction. All right. And I believe that's what's coming. I don't know how, again, I don't know the road that'll get us there, but I believe that is where we're headed. All right. A Biden official later told Fox News that the former vice president does not want to issue an executive order and instead wants Congress to legislate on the matter. Okay, well, under a Democrat controlled White House and a Congress, do you have any idea, how stupid if you thought stupid was what we saw in the past 3 years coming out of Congress, the stupidity of just pure optics that they will put down in order to just keep it'll be the same old do nothing, accomplish nothing other than if it's in their favor. That's what you will see out of Congress. Because anybody that pushes back against it with somebody of Joe Biden or Kamala Harris in the White House is not going to get any traction at all. They're going to go back to their old way of doing things, and we will not accomplish anything. It'll be just a joke. Some Senate Democrats and progressives are pushing for more debt relief. Senators Chuck Schumer, we know how useless that meat sack is, and Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts have both called on Biden to unilaterally cancel up to $50,000 of outstanding federal student loans per borrower. Biden, Harris can cancel billions of dollars in student loan debt, giving tens of millions of Americans an immediate financial boost. Not if they can't even afford to pay it now. It's not a financial boost. It's just a looming problem over their head. Yeah. But, I have a feeling that a lot of those people aren't even able to pay those loans off right now. Helping to close the racial wealth gap. And again, here we go. The racial wealth gap, because all of these people that have these debts are obviously minorities and people who couldn't afford it. And so got trapped into by a complicit loan organization that was just willing to, further their debt struggle. All right. Keep them entrapped. Debt slavery is the goal, has been the goal for a long time. This is the single most effective executive action available for a massive economic stimulus. Warren said Biden could use existing executive authority under the Higher Education Act to order the Department of Education to cancel student loan debt. Previous estimates show that that proposal would provide total forgiveness to more than 75,000 borrowers and partial forgiveness for more than 95%. But new analysis from the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget shows that canceling student loan debt is an ineffective stimulus measure. Eliminating a $1.5 trillion in loans would translate to just $90 billion or less in cash available in 2021 and $450 billion over the next 5 years. The majority of those affected by the current economic crisis likely have little or no student debt, the analysis said, noting that more than 70% of unemployed workers do not have a bachelor's degree. It is unlikely that broad student debt cancellation would be well targeted toward those experiencing income loss, nor is it well targeted toward those with low incomes, the nonprofit agency said. Maybe those guys are the white hats in this whole thing. Who knows? All right. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone who have joined me this morning. I apologize for being late to the desk here this morning. My apologies for that. It won't happen again, if I have anything to say about it. But it turned out to be quite an interesting program today. Well, we had the news conference from the legislators in Pennsylvania. Then we had Kaylee come in, and there's been some interesting stories. And I want to say, give a big shout out there to Age of Accountability for coming in and sharing his stuff. And a big thank you to Pam, who covered for my tardy butt this morning. And I appreciate that. And, this has been, a wild ride for me this week personally, and also, what's been going on in our world. And, but it's one we're all having to go to and go through. And so I wouldn't change it for a thing. So I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for all of the well wishes this past week while I've been dealing with the loss of Connie. She's resting peacefully in a very nice piece of ground where we will be able to go on our walks and walk by and salute her and thank the Lord that she was a part of our family for almost 9 years. She was truly a blessing, a wonderful dog. And like I was saying earlier, she was the female energy in our house. And she is absolutely, I can feel that part of the energy of the house. Not here. And it's, you ladies, you know, you bring so much to the world. It's that female energy that makes the world go around. Use it responsibly, please. I hope you realize just how important the ladies are to how our world works. God created it that way, ladies and men. And we need to come together, realize our strengths and our powers, and use them responsibly. So again, I want to say thank you. I will be back tomorrow evening for Hyperdrive Early Edition, Saturday edition, and in between then and now, I think I have a pile of leaves that are waiting for me to stuff into the green bin. So thank you so much, everyone. You're such a wonderful family, and the PSP family here is amazing. So
thank you, Thumper.
Thank you. All right, guys. Here's some higher ground, and I'm out for today. Have a good one. The ladies coming up on the other side.
Keep on learning. Sailors, keep on sailing. World, keep on turning. 'Cause it won't be too long. Oh, won't be too long. Keep on lying while your people, keep on dying. World, keep on turning.
Wow, what a voice. What a voice.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, what I was talking about earlier, that feminine power. Look at the energy that she brought to that whole thing. And she belts it, doesn't she?
Oh my gosh, yes, I love her. Isn't she like the lead of that group?
She is some type of leader.
I think she is.
Yeah, they have a couple of female vocalists that are absolutely amazing. The gal that does the fight song.
Oh yeah.
She is equally as adept, but that gal there, her just the power and the energy that she brings, like that's that feminine energy you guys have. It's amazing when it's used for good.
Yeah.
Not the Pelosi kind, but
because of we try to be good.
Sorry.
Oh, I know.
That's so true. I mean, we could really use them in the music industry right now because they're sadly lacking in real talent. I hate to say.
Oh,
and it seems like all the real talent's going into these military bands.
Well, some of these people are actually courted by the military bands.
Yeah, they're recruited.
They're actually they have specific music recruiters that go out and look for these amazingly talented individuals.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And I'll tell you what, the Navy program and the Marine Corps program are two of the toughest to get into. The Marine Corps band, especially, those guys, because they're the president's own. They're, state dinners, all that. You're going to find the Marine Corps band there. And
is the singing sergeant